Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Please be welcome to this Tuesday meeting, January the 7th. We hereby call this meeting to order. We will ask for a prayer from Mr. John Greer.
Can everyone stand?
And Mayor, before Mr. Greer gives a prayer, if I may,
Yes.
I'd like on today to pay homage to the 39th President of the United States. I know today that eulogizing President Jimmy Carter. I think when I look back over my life, I can remember when I first took an interest in history and politics, that the president at that particular time was Richard M. Nixon. We know the scandal that followed that. Afterwards, we know that Gerald Ford became president after that, and with that, he gave a pardon. And we hear that name kicked around quite a bit now, a pardon or a commute. So after Gerald Ford, we had the opportunity to elect the 39th President of the United States, which was Jimmy Carter. And we know during President Carter's reign, black federal judges were being put on benches. That had never taken place, not even since Reconstruction after the Civil War from 1865 to 1877. So with that, on this day, we'd like to pay homage, and by paying homage, to give a moment of silence for the 39th President of the United States of America. And so be it. Thank you all.
Amen.
Everybody bow their heads. Lord, we come before you, ask you to watch over us and watch over this city. Watch over the city fathers and mothers and guide them in the decision making of this meeting. We ask you to continue to watch over this community, make it prosper and grow and excellent in everything that it does. In the name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Alderman Marquis Blunt. Alderman Marquis Blunt. Present. Alderman Rodriguez Brown.
President.
Alderman Fred Estes. Present. Alderwoman Monica Gilkey.
Present.
Alderman Les Penn.
Present.
Alderman Tim Taylor.
Present.
Alderman Lafayette Wells.
Present.
Is Matt Pig here?
Yes, sir.
Item 4 and the first item on this agenda hereby calls for a public hearing. Are you prepared?
We need to adopt the agenda.
Adopt the agenda.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. Let me call for a motion to adopt the agenda, which is item 5, and go back to the public hearing. The mayor hereby calls for the adoption of the agenda.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
I'm sorry.
Do we have anything
Mr. Allen was here, Reverend Allen. He's left, so I don't think he has any business he wants to bring forward. And other than that, I don't.
Ms. Rice said that she
She was on the agenda last night, right? For public speaking.
is she on the agenda today?
Well, let me do this.
We need to add her.
We need to add a quick agenda. Do we have anything?
It was on the agenda last night.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, she's here to speak.
Yes, she's. Okay.
Yes.
Now,
Mayor, if I may,
now like a motion, that we add, Ms. Fonzie right to the agenda today.
Do we have a second?
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Well,
Tim Taylor.
Gilkey, aye.
Motion carried. We will add her.
Mayor, if I may,
Yes.
I needed to discuss, issue with the culvert at 505 North Canal Street as well. Can we add that to the agenda?
Can you do what?
Add it to the agenda?
What are we adding now?
The repair or replacement of a culvert at 505 North Canal Street.
Yes, you can.
It's been
We have a motion. Just a moment, we need to finish Ms. Goodlow.
We had all voted on that. All of
We'll just give our added, I guess we can say 5A.
Okay.
And now that you can repair of the covered where,
North Canal Street.
505 North Canal.
Mayor will entertain a
I
motion.
second that motion, Mayor.
All in favor?
Brown eye.
Gilbert,
That's correct.
Well,
Some favor.
And,
Motion carried. Now we got to adopt the agenda and then the public hearing. We're just, we're adding, that's gonna be 5B. We got 5A and then 5B. Now we need to adopt the agenda.
I'd like to make a motion that we adopt the agenda with those, two items added.
Do we have a second?
I'll second the motion.
on the readiness.
Those are readiness. Please state your readiness.
Yes, sir, Mayor, on the agenda, we have two items, item number, 9 and 10. We would like to, for the attorney to look at that and make sure we are, corrected in doing it this, in this particular manner.
9 and 10.
Yes, sir.
So let me ask you this. You want her, just a minute. You want her to assess this,
Right.
while the meeting is in progress? Or you want her to give a report at the end of the meeting, or just give her an opportunity to assess it for this meeting?
Oh, okay. She can assess at the end of it, she's not.
At the end?
Yeah, she's not going to assess it right now. Can you assess it now, Attorney? Attorney Vance?
I think. Autumn Wells.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I heard y'all Wells. I said no.
Okay. So you want to assess it at the end of the meeting?
19?
Right. Okay.
That's the end.
Yeah. That's
So we can move 9 and 10, or we can,
Oh, 9 and 10. I haven't had, let's do it after executive session, because I just got those documents,
okay.
like, a couple hours ago.
Okay.
This bill.
are you saying before the executive session?
After, give me time to do it.
Coming.
Yeah.
Okay,
We
we're
go
going
ahead.
back into.
Okay. And we'll come back. Okay.
So we'll do that.
Okay.
With that said,
I'm ready on this.
sir,
I'm fine.
okay, as the rest of the doctor of the agenda,
Promotion.
who did the second?
Alderman Taylor.
All in favor?
Well, by.
That's right.
Yeah, some favor.
And,
Gilbert,
Motion carried. As it relates to item 5A, which is,
public hearing. Public hearing.
the public hearing would be,
4. Item 4.
would be 4. Okay, are you prepared?
We tried again today to make contact with the folks at TWA, just as a reminder. And very unsuccessful. They're not here, to my knowledge, they never responded back to us. So, as far as I'm concerned, it's what would y'all like me to do with TWA?
Well, let me ask you a
Clean
question.
it up or tore down?
Let me ask you a question. So you have appropriately notified by way of what kind of mail, what kind of notice,
Registered mail to every address we can find it on.
and you received the green slip back?
No, we received undeliverable back.
undeliverable.
Correct.
Did we publish it?
No, I'm not gonna publish it in the paper until we figure out what we're gonna do. If we're gonna clean it up, it's gotta be posted in the paper for 14 days prior to the cleanup. Same way we did with.
No, wait.
Did we publish it?
Oh, yes, we did, God, I am so sorry. That's my
Okay,
bad.
okay, well, you're good.
Yeah, because I put the notice on the building, the yellow sheet, and.
If you publish it in the paper and it's undeliverable, you are what's known as an individual who can declare an entity to be a nuisance
Well,
under that statute.
and
Therefore, you presented your information to this board as to the next step. And apparently your recommendation is that the next step is what?
we have two options. And one is cleaning up, have the city go in and clean it up and charge it back to the tax roll. The second option is demolish. But I have serious concerns on that.
Why is that?
Because that building, when the brownfield group came in, they tested that building and around that area, and it does contain asbestos.
So how do you demolish it contained?
It would have to have an asbestos abatement of the building before we could do anything to it. And that's gonna be costly.
What do you mean costly? How much is that?
That would have to be bidded, or we'd have to ask for quotes from private abatement companies who can do that safely. Because the dust created from that is gonna affect people across the street at Mount Zion Church and in the general area. Because it is right, y'all know as well as I do, it's just right on Major Thoroughfare and West North. And I just feel uneasy about subjecting our residents to even driving by when that's being done.
Hey, Mayor, I'm looking at the notice, it looks like you've satisfied the due process for cutting the grass and weeds, removing trash and miscellaneous debris. That's all I see that was noticed for.
But there's no notice of demolition.
No, there's no notice for removing the dilapidated building.
And that was the reason why
Why wasn't there a notice for the removing of the dilapidated building?
Miss Banks, is that going to a New Orleans address or a Georgia address?
The one went to New Orleans, they both went to New Orleans, and now I'm gonna publish in the paper.
Okay,
But I believe all we can do is just cut grass and remove debris right now.
Yeah, the New Orleans is the new group that owns it.
the group in New Orleans are not registered through Louisiana Secretary of State's office. They have no license to do business in Louisiana. They do have a license to do business in the state of Mississippi.
You send it to that address?
Well, I don't have the Mississippi address.
Do you have a Mississippi address?
Y'all got it in my office.
Did you send it to them? At the Mississippi
I
address?
think Jim Cruz came up here with them,
Yeah.
but I think they were out of Georgia.
Right.
And that's the different, if you look at that on the mapping deal, that was MCB Services. And so now it's TLGFY.
Right. And they have two different companies, one in Louisiana and one in Mississippi, registered through the Secretary of State.
But not in Louisiana.
Not in Louisiana.
But someone is ignoring your notice,
Correct.
either by mail or either by, public notice. And so, the message is that these buildings that have been sitting for 20 years in a dilapidated circumstance need to go. So that's kind of like where we are.
I would love to make that ruling, it is a nuisance, it is a health hazard, but I would not make that call without y'all's recommendation for it, because of the cost.
Because of the cost,
So that's asbestos.
That's message, that makes it,
but do we know what the cost is?
That's it, but I have been around some of them, it'd be in 6 figures easy.
Yeah, I know that they did like a small AT&T booth out on 43 years ago, and I put a tent over the whole thing while they did it.
Yes.
And that's just on a small building. On a large building, it'd be much more.
Like, they have to have a level A Tyvek suit, they have to constantly keep it wet to eliminate the dust or minimize the dust. But you know as well as I do, on a block wall, gonna be on the outside. When you break that wall down, that dust on the inside of that is gonna escape. How much escape? Don't know. I'm not sure.
Alderman Taylor?
Yeah, I want, and maybe he answered the question. The mayor asked you a question earlier as to why you didn't notice for demolition. And maybe that's your answer because of asbestos.
Right.
But I don't wanna fill in the blanks for you.
Right.
I wanna hear
Right.
what your response was gonna be to the answer, to the
That's
question.
why I said that's the reason why we address the cutting the grass, cleaning the property up. Something's gotta be done, period. Well, if we can get it cleaned up, that'll help. The overall goal will be to destroy it once we get some quotes, and y'all can make an educated decision.
But earlier you offered two options, one to clean up, one, and then, one to demolish, and he came back and asked that question. So I guess your answer is because of the asbestos?
It is.
Okay, all right.
It is. I mean, it's, not to mention the cost, like I said, the subject with the residents to that hazard is not something I'm gonna take lightly. That's why I would prefer y'all let me know. If that's what y'all wanna do, I'll be more than happy to go on the phone tomorrow. And
Let me ask you a question. How long does it take you to do an assessment for asbestos mitigation?
When they came in for the brownfield group, I wanna say they done spent 2 days. They didn't spend a whole lot of time. The back portion of that building is collapsed, and that's where I was told, I don't do the abatement or testing, but I was told that's where the highest concentration of the asbestos is.
So are you saying that it's the city that would be charged with the cost of the investment mitigation and not the actual owners of the building?
And the only thing we can do then is charge back them 50% of the fair market value of that building.
Yeah, there's a limitation on the
Mhm.
cost, so I guess if we wanna demolish it, the best thing would do would be to have an estimated cost of how much it's gonna be. To see if we can do it within that cost, cause there is a limitation on that statute.
And that large of a building, they're not just gonna be able to put 10 up behind it.
Right.
It's gonna have to be constantly water sprayed on. Yeah.
Can you get us an estimated cost, so that we can look at it? And
But can we in the meantime have it cleaned up?
can you do what?
Can we in the meantime have the grass cut and place cleaned up?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
What I need to know.
Yeah, you noticed it, I mean,
Yeah.
you put in the paper, it's the extra step, so, I
Right.
mean, they're a landowner in the city, so.
Mhm.
Okay.
That's all I have on that.
So what's being said here is that with all of the standard dilapidated buildings,
Mhm.
that a deterrent
Mhm.
of tearing them down may be a cost
Mhm.
to this municipality.
Right.
Which is why we're supposed to put
So,
it on the tax roll.
sir,
Which is why we're supposed to put it on the tax roll.
Mhm.
When they pay their taxes, they gotta pay the fine.
are they paying their taxes?
And that's-
Somebody is,
and they-
Somebody is paying their taxes?
yeah, you go back and pull it up on the county website, and it'll have the last date the tax paid.
And when was the last day you were paid?
On that particular property,
Yes, sir.
2024,
But as the answer.
that's who got the.
So clean it up, put it on there.
Yeah, that's the answer.
But we can't charge more than 50% of what the fair market value of that property is.
Well, that's better than having the building here in the 23rd.
Right.
Because that's exactly the road that you're traveling down, having these buildings here in the 23rd.
Now, this building is a little more difficult than what is coming up.
Okay.
If it's a standard house, that notice will be demolition and notified, signpost, run in the paper. Then when we come to the public hearing, somebody does that, then we're gonna put a track over it. And
So
start
this
tearing
is
it
just
up.
cutting the grass and cleaning
Right.
the.
For right now.
Right.
Hold on just a second, I just want to ask you about the timeline.
Mm-hmm.
So we have agreed to cut the debris, the grass and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And so today is what, January the what?
So,
The January 7th. So, are we gonna be looking at the same problem this summer?
no, I hope not.
So what's the timeline?
That will be,
For the
I
next
get with
step.
Mr. Davis, find out when they're available, because they've got a busy schedule too, and when they can be good. My
Mr.
word,
Who?
Mr. Davis. My understanding, Public Works has always done this in the past.
Has always formed the building there?
No, has always done the grass cut and clean up. No, right now, Public Works normally doesn't clean, properly clean up. Yeah.
Let me ask you one last question out of this. From your experience, what would be the estimated cost to outsource this building for demolition?
The first thing is gonna depend on exactly how much of asbestos is in that building. Second of all, it's gonna take the construction company comes in, their engineer is gonna do the assessment of the strength of the concrete, the path, how far you wanna go, the whole 9 yards, and that way it'll be evaluated at that time.
Okay, I understand, and it's not that I disagree with you. I think you've done a great job. It's just that these dilapidated buildings have been here for like 20 years. And, you know, the best interest of the public's health and welfare and safety, they have got to go.
Okay.
Are there grant money for this?
Not that I know of. I've got Sammy and Fern, I was checking with, the Brownfield group, he had contact there, and I was gonna see if there was any of the Brownfield money left, I have no idea.
John, can you help us with this, with EPA, to try to ascertain if there are any grant money for this?
I'll look into it.
All right,
And DEQ, I talked to a girl that works in the asbestos department, and she's checking with DEQ, but as of yesterday, had not come up with it.
Okay.
all right. Dr. Anderson, I'm gonna ask you to revisit this and bring this back to our attention 30 days from today. I wanna recognize,
I'm sorry.
I wanna recognize the gentle lady from Ward 6.
Mr. Pete, I know you said that the taxes had been paid for last year. The person who paid the taxes, is that the person that we've been sending the notices to?
That's at TYL,
G,
whatever.
yeah,
Got like 5
Yeah,
others in
down in New Orleans.
okay. You did not get, I know we saw the, slips that you had, but I was just
Right.
wondering if it was that person or if it was somebody else.
Yeah, we even went back and done the, one of the original attorneys for that MCB.
Yeah, that was when Jim Cruz came.
Right.
I think that group was at the MCB out of Georgia.
They actually changed their name to MCB of Canton. And they got a whole different PO boxes originally. The new PO box, the CEO of that company contacted me with the information of that TYL.
Saying that they sold it.
Yeah, that they had.
So what's your Mississippi address on this New
This
Orleans?
PO box.
What's, in Canton or where?
No, it's in Jackson.
I mean, we've sent their stuff there too.
So they're getting your data.
Somebody's got an opportunity to open a letter of property,
All right,
but it ain't happening.
So the Mississippi address, you say you sent it to a post office box?
Post office box.
And what's the heading name on
His name on
it? Yeah,
it,
what was the name on it, attached to the PO box?
that TYLP,
It's like
it's like 5 letters in it, that I have no idea, I can't even find what they stand for.
Well, here's the deal, and I know I've requested this before, that when documentation goes out of here, we should see that. Has anybody seen any of this?
Well, it was in our packet yesterday.
Okay, so I didn't see it in the package, but I'm talking about.
Not for the tax, but for.
Right.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying, you know, we know what's going on in New Orleans, but as far as Jackson, and this is what we've been talking about, the communication part of what we do. And when you say you do this, and we don't see it, we realistically don't know is what I'm saying. Yeah, and I mean, your answer, when Mr. Penn, Alderman Penn asked you, about the, Mississippi address, you didn't directly answer it. You just said,
We had a train,
Okay.
so I had to think about it.
I understand. But you gotta see where we are in this situation.
Right,
And, you know, the liability comes back to us.
correct.
You know, regardless of what you do or what you don't do, that liability rests on our shoulders. And when anything negative comes out of the city, they're not gonna say Mac P, they're gonna say that dysfunctional group of leaders up there at City Hall. And that's what we're trying to avoid. Okay?
Mayor, if I may.
Yes, ma'am.
Can we take this up again on the next meeting?
Yes, ma'am.
Because I don't want this to get lost.
I agree with you. Change it from 30 days from now to 15 days.
Are we adjudicating it today, because we don't adjudicate?
Well, I think the only thing we're gonna adjudicate is the debris, the grass, and
Right.
what you have over there, snakes.
That's good.
Yep, rats. And we rats.
Okay, please take care of
Is
the
that any
grass.
custody?
Thank you.
Okay.
No,
No, Mr. Allen is.
I think you, Mr. Davis, and Mr. Cole, all three need to get together, because I know Al and Mr. Davis got a lot of things dedicated to him to do. And, I think, Mr. Cole would be more appropriate to get with one as far as the cosmetic outlook of the building, if you're gonna clean it up.
Yeah, well, I just wanna make sure to stay with them, because I don't wanna interfere with their schedule.
I understand, okay.
Okay,
Y'all need me any more than that?
Yep,
you better hold on.
Mr. Perry, you get those, attention.
I was going to tell you, I have to apologize, I'll have to get to you in the morning, because I have that. Ain't had time to,
Yeah.
I think it turned out well.
Whether, yeah, I hear you.
Thank
You
you,
can do
sir.
what you can.
All right.
Ms. Ron's a good love.
Are you?
In the time
come out.
Yeah, we need a motion.
First one, we're going to adjudicate it. I made the motion to adjudicate it for 15, 2 weeks, 15 days.
You had it now, you have to do it, because if not, you might have to post it again
So just adjudicate it
for today, yeah.
for today.
I need
You
to
do a
say,
follow-up, you have a rule, you want to follow up on something. If you don't, just have to come back and know, if it comes before y'all, without a due date, it's gonna have to do it on public document.
Yes, sir, let's go ahead.
Right, I'm just trying to figure out, is that what the motion needs to be, just to.
you're the one that should take from that, yeah, but it's TWA.
It is,
TLGFY.
yeah, so we're gonna make the motion to adjudicate TLGFY LLC, the
Grass cutting and weeds.
grass cutting, weeds, and cleanup the property until
Next board meeting.
next year.
Do we have a second? All in favor?
Jeffrey, I,
Wells,
That's correct.
Some favor.
Ken,
Brown,
Motion carried. This particular time, the mayor would like to present Ms. Ron's good love, to this board. The board knows.
I make a motion, we close the, public hearing.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Brown, Wells,
That's correct.
Ken,
Jeffrey, I.
Some favor.
Motion carried. Ms. Little, you may proceed.
Good afternoon and happy New Year, everybody. I'm a little cold, so just excuse my voice. My purpose here today is threefold. Two items, I just kind of general. The third item is very specific. The first item is I want to thank you, Dr. Trudy, for speaking at the unveiling of the marker. And I have tried to get this information to you before today. So I thought I'd just handle it. I want to give you a thank you note for speaking so kindly about me and about the
Thank you.
history that I have carried for many years.
Thank you.
So that's what thank you.
I share this with the board.
Thank you, I appreciate that. My second item that I addressed to Dr. Trudy, on 2 occasions, was, as most of you know, I conduct tours around the city, the state, and the nation. And I was preparing my 2025 trip schedule, which always includes Canton and this year in particular. And in the past, I have had Alderman, Ms. Amos, and different ones who have come and addressed the groups that I bring. And I want to know if when I complete my schedule, would any of the aldermen here be willing and available to come and greet my people? They come from all over the country and all over the world. Because again, I've been doing this for 25 years, bringing people to Canton. You may not know that they have been here. My third item is a little bit more specific. For about a year, I have been inquiring about the status of the historical photo and plaque that was hung in this courtroom when this courtroom was dedicated in 2016. And I have not been able to get a clear and concise answer. So I'm here today requesting that I be told directly, not second, third, and fourth hand, why the picture has not returned. As I understand it, the picture was on the wall prior to the reconstruction. And by the way, this is a beautiful room. This is a beautiful room. And I can tell that you took great care in decorating it. But I want to make it clear. It's not about another picture. It's not about another award. It's not about another recognition. I have lived to see 82 and a half years. And for 62 of those years, if any of you know me, you know that I have been involved in trying to secure and maintain rights, voting rights for people in this city, in this county, in this state, and in this nation. So the historical significance of the Brown Goodlow photo in this room will make visitors aware that this city thought enough of one of its residents to say, this person has been on the firing line. I don't know if any of you been in jail, but I have. I don't know if any of you been shot at, but I have. I don't know if any of you been tear gassed, but I have. Life threatened, but I have. Not so much for Flonzie Brown Goodlow, but for the rights of the people that I have tried to represent. And so my query, specifically, I see the nice seal, and I see the various things that are on the wall. And there's nothing to say that this place was dedicated with the ribbon cutting in 2016 and dedicated with a photo and a plaque to your speaker. So I'm here to understand, after I have, been up and down hoops, trying to find out specifically what is the status of the photo. And I have yet to understand definitively where we are with that. So I'm here today for someone, Mr. Mayor in particular, if someone would tell me, because before the construction took place, the photo was here. And once the construction was done, the photo did not return. And so I never got a courtesy call that we won't be putting the picture back up. I never understood that it would not be going up, and I just need to know why. Just plain and simple. Not here to, fuss at anybody, not here to point things. I'm just simply here to try and get a specific response as to why the photo and the plaque are not up.
Good question.
Who wants to answer that one?
I should address it to the mayor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to direct it to the mayor. First of all, as they said in England, to be bloody truthful.
I'm sorry.
As they said in England,
Okay.
to be bloody truthful.
Okay.
I don't know why it's not up. That's number one. Number two, you are absolutely correct to try to ascertain what happened to the picture. On this wall, we had pictures of mayors going back as far as the 1800s. We had pictures of Ms. Scott, and pictures of, Alderman, not Alderman, Mayor Esco, Mayor Truly. I have no idea what happened to those pictures. And they've been missing for about 1 or 2 years now.
I don't know.
How many?
Probably 3.
I've been 3 years.
So there's one that storage.
Yeah.
I was saying, like Mr. Lewis said, they were on the wall right there between the windows. And that's, remember we had the first light went out right there in the leak. And it started coming down that wall, and that's what took them down. It was took them down to protect them, but I don't think anyone believes it was intentional, but we just need to find them and get them put back up.
What do they want to?
Yeah, where are
Well,
they?
we don't know, because this is what happened, Mr. Law. There's no one who sits here today has concrete evidence as to where those pictures were transferred. So the point is, they were transferred in a container, the same as those pictures were up here on the wall. But there were workers who were taking all of this stuff down. And I would think that they would have to be in a container. That's what I think that they would have to be. And I don't know if anyone has looked in the container, but we cannot find any of the pictures that were hanging up here. I can assure you that on behalf of, you said it was put up in 2016?
Yes.
Or 17?
2016,
2016.
was when the ribbon was cut.
That was under Arnell's administration.
That's correct.
That was 2016. And so when I came in, they were still.
It was still up.
Yeah, when everybody came in.
It was up until the remodel.
Right. I remember, I've been there several times, and they was not here, okay?
But there has been no sinister on nefarious intent on behalf of this board, of this mayor, to remove your picture or any of these pictures. We were under the impression that all of this stuff was removed just for safety reasons, to be placed somewhere until all of this declaration finalized. Not declaration, reconstruction, finalized. When it is finalized, and no one's picture is back. And so you're absolutely correct. The question still remains where the picture is. And there's no one who sits in this room right now who knows where any of these pictures are. And I guess the only thing that I know to do is to order a research of looking for those pictures. And the only place I can think of where they could possibly be would be the containers.
Then we actually cleaned out 2 years ago.
They were cleaned out 2 years ago?
Yeah, we should have made that request.
Because all the benches are in there too.
All of the what now?
The benches, so
Everything that was
everything that was in here pretty much, it didn't get ruined. But also, I think also we could get you a plaque, we can remake the plaque. Oh, I was just saying, if we can't find the plaque, we can remake it, we can get a new plaque and put it there for you. It's just, we have to maybe depend on you or someone else if we can't find the picture and get another picture that we can use and you would let us have access to.
Okay, let me suggest this. Even though I paid for the picture, and I paid for the plaque, you can't find it. Let me propose that I bring you a new photo with the plaque, and you reimburse me. I can do that.
Madam.
Mayor, if I may, I apologize on our behalf that has taken place, and that I I know that was here when I came 3 years ago. I've seen it, and, I know that we've had several times that pot be, empty and returned back to the pot's unit. So we can see what's in there, and things that need to be placed back into its proper, places can be done. That has yet to happen. Somebody needs to be reading it. It probably does not happen. It is not fair for you to pay for something to honor you. If that honor was bestowed upon you by the city, it's the city's responsibility.
Our agreement was that the city would pay for we had an agreement that the city would pay for part of the dedication. And because I was asked to do this, I didn't come here and say, would y'all put my picture up? And I got 500 awards already. So I'm grateful, very grateful.
Yes.
But because of the significance
Yes.
of this space, I was the first black person to work in this city hall, setting up elections that you all are the beneficiaries of. Bottom line. Bottom line.
Thank you.
Bottom line. You all may not be here. Had it not been for, and it's just not, and I want to be clear again, it's just not me. I want to share something with you. You may not know this, but I designed the brochure for the convention center that pointed out some 20 historical places. That should be posters and plaques and markers all over this city. Aren't you consider rich history?
That's right. Yes, ma'am.
That should be, should not just be me.
That's right.
I designed a bookmark for Sophia Bowman. I've been working in this city for a long time. But again, sometimes you have to partner with the people to get things done.
Yes, ma'am.
And so I did not mind the partnership. It was not about the money. It's just the fact that my whole thought enough of my years of service to not only this city, to the people. And Dr. Trudy, you know very well, because I helped to get you into some places. Okay? So, but I'm saying that it's just not about me wanting another picture somewhere. It's simply the fact that you can't find my property is somewhere.
Yes.
So what I'm suggesting, to make it simple, why don't I secure for you another picture? Commissioner Penn, Congressman Alderman Penn, I forget all those titles. And I thank you for that. Why don't I secure another picture? Bring it to you. And then you reimburse me for what I'm spending on that.
Can I make a suggestion?
You may.
Can we delegate someone to go to that unit and find the pictures?
Attractive man.
No, we need to clean it out and find
We need to
everything.
get there needs to be a sign, there needs to be delegated to somebody to get that stuff out of the pot. We're starting paying for something that we should not be paying for. Okay, first of all, thank you. And then if you cannot find, Miss, I want to say the good Lord so bad. Miss Wright's,
I answer to them all. Go on.
yes, ma'am. If we cannot find Miss Francis' picture or plaque, we should bear the cost and not have her to even try to even place an order for anything, because that's our mistake. We can't get that.
Well, you're right, but let me mention this to this board, and I think that what you're saying is correct. The discussion today is a discussion about lost history. That's what I'm concerned. And so there's an attempt to resurrect the lost history of the picture. But we've had citizens to come down and talk about the lost history on this wall over here. To the left, some of those mayors, we don't know who they are. But as we go down this journey, this artwork and these pictures and all of this history needs to be replaced. Some of these folks go back to 1890, 1930. And there has to be an attempt to restore all of this history. And I think what you said was to start anew, or to initiate a search to try to recover this history and put it in its proper place. I think that's the first step. And I think in a circumstance in which that does not work, then Alderman Penn's recommendation can certainly be pursued.
There are also those, on the back wall, there are the old pictures of the square and stuff.
Yeah, on the back wall.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Alderman Taylor.
That's okay. You know, if I speak out of turn, everybody jump on me. Nobody jumps on anybody else. But no, it's just teasing. Look, I've had many conversations with you, Ms. Florence. I was also at your dedication and also at your Jackson Music Awards, where you allowed me to speak in place of the mayor in his absence. That I truly appreciate. That was one thing you just said. About your tenure in 1968, you are the first African-American voting commissioner in the city of Canton during those horrific times. We understand that was somewhat mentioned in the coming age of Mississippi. And of course, I get to work with you through the Freedom House. I talked to Glenn Cotton about this, and I don't know what's going on over in the pod. We don't know if mildew has taken over what, but I did say to Glenn, I think we need to step up. So, with that being said, in the event that we replace anything on behalf of the Freedom House and the owner and operator of the Freedom House, Mr. Glenn Cotton, we would be glad to put forth the cost to replace whatever we need to replace in City Hall, and we can donate it. It can be spread across the minutes. There will be no financial or fiduciary expense coming from the city. It will be coming from a private donation, sort of, if you would allow that.
Again, what I would suggest, you talking about that pot out there? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
No. It is probably collecting mildew?
Yeah.
Okay, let's be real. No, just be real. That pot has been sitting out there before you all decorate this room. It's been sitting out there for years. Even if you find that picture, Ms. Guilty, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Even if you find that picture, the frame, which was quite an expensive frame, maybe it may have asbestos. I don't know what condition. You don't know what condition.
Well, this is the alternative coming from the Freedom House. We're not going to worry about that. That's in the past. Let's go forward and get it done for you. We love to do that.
So what are you saying?
We're saying that you provide the picture and however you want the plaque, designated and documented on behalf of the Freedom House. We'll take care of the expenses.
I never said the Freedom House. I'm missing a connection.
I'm sorry?
What about the Freedom House?
On behalf of the Freedom House, the owner and operator of the Freedom House has decided that we'll bear the cost of whatever it takes to replace. We can't replace the same photo, only a photo that you give and a plaque. And, you know, with the boards, well, it's already documented and spread across the minutes from 2016 that this particular courtroom is dedicated to you. So we would bear the cost instead of the city doing anything. You'll be getting from a private entity as a donation.
Okay. So what I understand is, when I bring a picture and a plaque to this facility and bring a receipt, bring a bill.
You don't have to do that. You just tell us
How much
what it's going to cost, and we'll go from there.
Then does that work for you, Mr. Mayor?
Sure.
Then where are we gonna put it? That wall was okay because it has some other things in the back. Do we need to discuss where it should be placed?
It was over here.
It was over here.
And we can put it there. I just want to have it in the room.
Yes.
Within the next month, if not the next meeting, I will bring you a picture and a plaque, and then I can tell you what the cost is.
And we'll reimburse you.
That's what I need to find out.
Now, there was one thing you said that upon your arrival in the city, with your work in the city of Canton, how you helped the mayor to get here. I'm a candidate for mayor this year. You helped me out. Every chance I get, but no, it's just a little political plug. One more
I
thing.
know how
Okay.
I
Okay.
wanna know how you were able to help me get here.
No.
No, she's talking about
Not here.
elected officials.
Dr. Trudy, you remember when you were trying to get hospital privileges at the National General Hospital?
Yeah.
I took you to meet with the administrator and begged and spoke on your behalf to become the first black doctor in this town. You remember that? You and I and Mr. Whittington met in his office at the National General Hospital. I was the one who took you there and advocated for you to become the first black doctor. They didn't accept it, but they did. The compromise was Dr. Carpenter.
Well, let me
And I'm not saying it
now,
here.
let me mention this for a point of history. Whittington and that hospital never allowed me to be admitted.
You're right.
And the consequence of that was a massive march here in the city of Canton.
That's right.
And the only way that I got into that hospital was my case went all the way to the United States Supreme Court. But it didn't end there. What happened was, at that hospital, in 1987, and up until that time, it basically had white physicians and white dentists, and the dentists voted. In 1987, you need to hear this, Mom. In 1987, when the vote took place, the only physicians who voted for me were black physicians
And who were
in 1987
Canton?
in Canton.
Who was it? Dr. Carmichael?
Dr. Carmichael did not vote for me.
I know he did. But do you know who organized the march on your behalf? You're looking at it.
I don't believe that.
You may
I don't remember that.
But you may not.
No, that march was organized by COT and by Dr. Just a minute now, because I got all this recorded. That march was organized by Attorney Ed Blackman and C.O. Chin and William Truly and the people of Canton who were pissed off because one of their own had been denied. I had gone to Howard University. Just a minute. I had gone to Howard University. I had graduated from Harvard Medical College, and I decided to come to Mississippi instead of doing church. And what you saw was a community response. That's who I remember organizing that march, and that's the history. I got all of the newspapers, and I got all of the pictures. So I was denied from 1972 to 1987. That hospital made me present my picture in my medical book from the Harvard Medical College for them to determine, is this William Truman in his medical book the same William Truman that's sitting before them?
Dr. Trudy, I remember everything you're talking about.
I don't remember you being an organizer, that's my point.
Dr. Trudy, the three of us, you're not gonna argue about it. The three of us sat in Mr. Whittington's office and I filed a lawsuit to integrate National General Hospital. I filed a lawsuit to integrate the hospital. But anyway, that's neither here nor there.
I know, but it didn't work for me.
Now we're talking about my picture.
Yeah, we'll find the picture, but I just want to get the history straight. That I don't know what you did for Dr. William Truly back in 1970.
But you was one of your patients.
Yeah, you were patient, but so far as being an organizer, that's not a part of my history.
I organized all over the city.
I'm not talking about the city. I'm specifically talking about this one incident of Dr. William Truly. I can't explain that because it's not true.
Let's don't argue, Dr. Trudy.
I'm not arguing, but I want history facts to be served. I was there. I was the victim. I was in the march. I know everybody who was in the march. And I know how it was structured and organized. And I got all of the Clarion Ledger pictures.
Okay.
All right.
Well, thank you so very much for that.
All right. Thank you.
I still hold to that position.
Thank you.
Hey, and one more thing before you leave. Congratulations to Congressman Benny Thompson. I hope we're going to get in the process of sending a letter congratulating him. And I also saw your beautiful picture that you took with him at the Capitol on Friday doing all of those ceremonies. So, again, congratulations to you. All right.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I'll see you within a month with the picture.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
You'll see Glenn Collins, Tim Taylor.
Okay, thank you so
Okay.
much.
All right.
Thank you.
So what? 5 minutes.
Let's move it on.
Oh, okay. 5B. You want to present?
I'm ready.
Yeah, I want to present 5B.
Yes.
5B was a repair of the cover.
Yes,
On the mill.
on Canal Street.
Okay.
I have pictures I sent to the attorney to look at. This person, I'm asking that we would consider, replacing her culvert because she lives in a flood-prone area where it floods at all the time. And you can tell she had some massive erosion. It's almost similar to the house that we went to on Johnson Street. Where you are actually seeing her actual,
And you want the motion to be what now?
to, consider repairing her culvert.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the building authority needs to make a fact finding that, they have the power to repair the drainage ditch and the culverts on private property to their road. There should be a factual finding that road was determined. And I gotta get.
And I sent my phone back so you all can see the picture.
So you're saying repair or replace?
Replace,
Replace.
yes.
What's that?
505 North Canal Street.
505 North Canal.
Yes, ma'am.
Is Tony Copeland here?
Yeah, I saw him.
So,
His name is Mr. Davis.
Have you all seen this?
Yes. After going over there today, one thing about, when people spray Roundup around the cover, grass stop growing. When grass stop growing, that holds the soil together. And the soil is beginning to, not have anything to hold it. That makes now, what I will suggest on this situation, you're gonna have to make, basically all the, due to the fact of how the water's coming down the hill, you may have to replace all the covers on that street too now. Just looking at it, because there's, at the next house, looking at it, there's a cover that they put in for a walkway, and it's gonna need some replacement. Now, just looking at, I did go by there today and look at it, and, when there's no grass holding the soil there, it will cause, that was, because what happened, they tried to insert another cover in there, and I took,
she said she hadn't done anything, she said the city did it.
well, the city, okay.
She said the city put that there, she hadn't done anything at her house.
Well, and after looking, okay, but what I'm saying, when they cut the grass and make, grass holds the soil together. And once the grass gets a chance to, water keep rushing through that, so, and because on the north side of that, well, that'd be the, south side of it, the water, I was telling Tony today, when the water hitting it from right there on that side, due to the fact of the erosion hitting it, we was gonna come back with some concrete, because we're gonna have to put a barrier there to obtain the force of water to hit it on the upper side, due to the fact of no grass there, that will make the other part wash away. When they edge the driveway down, they have edged and edged it, they have made the water, make the grass leave there, so that's caused some, from my dealing with construction now, but now, and in order to replace that cover, I think there's a control joint. I think it takes about maybe like 5 yards of concrete to do
In
that.
addition to the cover. So that's gonna push the expense a little bit higher.
Oh, well, yes, well, just in order to do it right, because what's happened, I thought at first, due to the fact where the control joint was located at, water was seeping up under there, but that's not the problem. It's just basically where the grass is. But I will suggest to you guys, the way all those other covers on this street right now, the next door neighbor, because the water gonna start going fast, it's gonna, so if you guys do decide that right on that,
So it's gonna be a domino effect.
and also, after looking at today also too, looking at, due to the fact the city does not mill the asphalt up, we have always came in and did an overlay. Overlay have caused us a problem. Just from construction, but because we building it up, and that have caused us to have a whole lot of problems over a period of time. Because of the elevation of everything have changed. So that's basically what I'm saying now. Milling is very important. Yes, ma'am.
She talks.
Okay, and so just, not just that situation, due to the fact, well, they put curb, that's one reason why most companies come in and put curb and gutters in on the streets. Due to the fact all these open ditches now, that have cost, it's gonna cost us a lot of problems over a period of time. We have rusted covers and things of that nature, so.
Same thing with Tiger Lane, how they, highway chipping off, that same problem.
So you got a chance to look at the same project?
Yes.
Okay, with your experience, and I know you've been putting in all the covers over the last 3 to 5 years, what's your take on this?
My take is, same thing with the state, just all those are real old covers, those concrete covers. And I'm sure the rest of them doing the same thing, the common roof of them, but, you know, once they, like I said, once you fix that, it's gonna put pressure on it. And the rest of them gonna have the same problem.
Well, Mr. Davis put emphasis on the constructive side of it. I'm asking you, with your experiences with putting all these covers in over the last 3 to 5 years, I know I heard the domino effect analogy that he was talking about, but is it something that you can do, or do you think you need to get somebody?
Temporary, but that's not something I can do, because, most of those drive is concrete.
Okay.
You know, more likely they wanna go back to concrete. They got some of this, 6 years in there, fine.
6 inch, due to the fact of how the water works, I would recommend 6 inch. Due to the fact of the force of water coming down there, that will not be sufficient to put in a, basically, a drive is concrete. I would recommend concrete be the source of,
So
and then you have to put a wall there to maintain.
We're gonna tear up the driveway?
Well, you are, and
Yeah,
also, you
that's
got
what I'm
cover out, yes,
Well, you also saying that, you know, if you take on this project, you have to,
Do it
for everybody, and I can't say it's real expensive.
Well, due to the fact of the elevation, how things are going down here, so
Right.
that, you know, that will create some, several moments. I'm just, you know, it's just something from my evaluation of how.
It's human nature, for
Yes, sir.
if I see that the city is taking care of the neighbors, I'm saying, okay, I got the same problem. So it's
And as I said earlier,
right.
Never Mill, the street, that elevated the street up, that made the driveway and the, street a little bit higher, so you have to come in and do things a little bit different. You can look at the, so from doing construction work, I can say that.
So can I ask you something, Mr. Davis? Because I'm looking at this AG's opinion, and it talks about like the repair of drainage issues, et cetera, on private properties. And I'm just seeing a picture, but are you, or what you saw, is it due to erosion? Because basically what this opinion is about is there's an area of water where water runoff, it goes into a drainage ditch, and it's led to substantial flooding and erosion. The flooding and erosion has encroached upon private residents' property to the point that it's eaten away their yards and several outbuildings on the property that are now in jeopardy of being destroyed. From you going out to see that, does that fit into what this opinion is saying?
Yes, yes, the erosion is part of the problem.
Okay.
But you also said that homeowners contribute to erosion by spraying Roundup.
Well, I can't say Roundup.
Well,
I say grass is not.
it's not there.
It's not there. So it could be.
Whatever.
Yes. But I know for one fact, grass does use as a. Yes.
So is it water runoff or is it Roundup?
Well, it basically it could be either from when the weed is hit out. I ain't say it was around, but I can say there's no grass there. I made a metaphor, but I'm just saying there's no grass there.
She's not using around.
Okay.
I know some
Okay.
personal stuff about children issues, so.
Sir.
This is part of what I do in terms of addressing those issues. Because again, as you mentioned about the road, there's been many of times where the city has actually come there.
The chair wishes to recognize Alderman Eric.
Yeah. Good evening. I'm here to help support this particular location here. Not to disagree with Mr. Davis has actually said, but over the course of years, there has been city, digging ditches. So the absence of grass
could easily be contributed to the fact that those ditches have been dug out and cleared to prevent or to alleviate some flooding over there. But now again, that particular area has been flooding for years, and that is one area that has been a serious issue as relates to flooding here in the city of Canton. Now, when the schools were built, McNeil was built, that has caused an additional flooding, additional water to flow down in those particular areas right there for the most part. Because during the time I was there, soil would build up, the city would come through, dig them out, clean them out, so forth and so on. So again, I know Mr. Wells indicated that, hey, you do for one, how do for the other, or whatever, for the most part. That's just how business runs. I mean, bottom line, you can't sit here and just not fix something because it's gonna cause a chain reaction, because that's not fair to the citizens there. Simply because those are homeowners there. And again, those are property paying people that need services to prevent their driveways and the streets and all that from eroding and deteriorating. Now again,
Let me ask you a question.
yes,
This area that you're talking about, how was it missed?
it wasn't missed.
It was
Been
neglected.
assessed?
It's been assessed. It's been part of that flood area.
It was neglected.
But
Yeah.
as you go, as the progresses, things get worse. And some people's yards get worse than others. It just depends.
Take me there visually. What are you
It's right there on Canal Street, you know, where Canal Street, it goes into that curve. You know, you got Canal Street and Johnson Street, goes into the little curve.
Right there.
So right there, Frisco is, that's what it floods in that particular area. That low-lying area is pretty much where all the, flood is, pretty much in that area.
Okay.
And like Al had said, you know, as they didn't necessarily mill those streets a lot, because the streets are a lot higher than some of the driveways.
There you go.
So again, they didn't mill those streets down to kind of, balance that off. So again, I advise all of you to, when these issues come before you guys, go out and take a look at it. And you'll see, sometimes it's just kind of hard to kind of show, to kind of explain what something looked like without actually going to the location and actually see, for yourself, for the most part. Now, I want to bring up a story as it relates to, Mr. Penn, and I always bring it up all the time. He had been complaining about an issue, out there where he lived for years. It would have cost us maybe a couple thousand, but maybe $10,000, $20,000. But then it was neglected, and we ended up paying about $300,000 for it. For something that could have easily been resolved had we took enough time to go ahead and adhere to it. So again, I'm here to support, again, Miss Helen Sanders, who had also talked to me, because again, I was pretty familiar with that particular area. So I know every time we come before, Mr. Taylor, he tends to balk at a lot of stuff, when it comes to, other areas, in Ward 6 in particular. But I know he doesn't really mean harm about it, but he just wants to get a little more detail as it relates to it. But again, he knows it because, again, during the flooding, he comes out there as well.
Absolutely, and I agree with you 100%. In defense of what you stated, McNeil is built up on an elevation. That water runs down. So if water is coming from the Frisco ditch and water is running down the hill, there's a spontaneous combustion that can take place. And I think we all remember that from 9th grade science. And when that happens, it's amazing because you hear this sound rushing when we were over there. There was a rush coming down. And I learned this since I've been an alderman. Some of the covers are too small to hold this type of water. Now, and I hear Mr. Gilkey and what he's saying, but the absolute fact is some neighborhoods in the city of Canton were neglected on purpose. And that's how we're having these problems now. And, as these homes are getting older, the structures are getting older, and now a lot of stuff is revealing itself.
And I say this in closing. Even if you put larger culverts there, I don't think that's going to resolve the issue, simply because that Frisco ditch is where all the flood pushes that stuff right out there. So, like you say, those combustible forces.
Yeah, they're coming in.
But that area do need to be fixed.
Someone's gonna get it eventually, and And, you know, I went down there with you, we saw all of this, and again, you know, and I agree with you 100%.
You know, and
So we don't take care of it, it becomes a bigger problem.
But to address, you know, the issue in terms of everybody probably wanting stuff done or whatever, you know, you can plan for certain things. So again, you know it's a problem, so we can kind of plan to have all of them redone, and we don't have to do them all at one time.
Yeah.
So,
Because all of them said they cleaned the ditches out of it, that didn't do so.
and like I say, and I'm not discrediting anybody, you know, in terms of the type of work that they do.
Right.
But again, it takes skills.
Yeah.
You know, you have to understand how to dig ditches out.
Yeah, slopes, yeah.
Slopes and all that, elevates, all that. You got to know. And so again, I'm not saying that these gentlemen who you know dig these ditches over in you know public works, because some people could be working for so long where they can understand all that stuff. You know, just you know hands on. So again, it's a problem. It's a problem.
Well, in the past, public works have been digging trenches, they were not digging ditches. Yeah, you know that, yeah. There was this 2.5 inch wide trenches. So when we started spreading it out and digging ditches, we saw a better rapport, a better outcome. And I think that's what we, you know, that's the direction we need to continue to go. And you know, I hope anybody who, I know what's gonna take place in April, but in Ward 5, I hope that whoever gets that particular ward, they have the same tenacity, because if they don't, you're gonna get ran over. And again, I give credit to you for what you did, Alderman Gilkey, with those sidewalks in Ward 5. Although I get the credit, I'll never say it was me. I'll always say it was. But and see, those types of dynamics need to continue to take place.
Right.
And you know, you're gonna hear this again as I get out on the stump. In order to lead this city, you got to love the people in the city. You can't lead what you don't love. So, and I know he has a love because I've watched him for many years. He always say that I'm rambunctious, but look, I sit in a lot of those meetings. I saw how rambunctious.
No, yeah. When I come up before the council, I promise you, I'm not here to try to make anyone look bad.
No.
I say things in hopes that it will capture your attention to know that, you know, Canton as a whole needs to be, you know, because like I said, a lot of times you guys will get out there and see these things.
You gotta get out there.
And normally when a lot of people come before you, they're at your throat about a lot of stuff. And here to make you look bad, I'm not here to do that. I just want you to pay attention to some of the things that are actually going on.
Right.
As it relates to, not only the Ward 6,
The city.
but the city as a whole, because like I mentioned before, you know, when something happens, when a murder or something happens, you know, forgive me, chief, they don't say what ward it actually came from. They say Canton, so as a whole. So again, you know, these very people that we're you know, we've given the duty to serve and protect or whatever, again, you know, these basic necessities, again, we raise taxes.
Yeah, basically.
We raise taxes.
Yeah, we do.
So again, when I came before you about the taxes or whatever, you know, it wasn't that, hey, have you seeked out any other alternatives, you know, before you decide to go that particular route. So again, we appreciate the work that you guys do, trust me, we do. But again, these are the things that are, because it causes us more in the long run, especially flood. Because when you flood, your police officers, your firemen, road department, all that's overtime, that you run their life, you run the risk of them losing their life and everything. So again, if we just attend to those little small and new things, not small and new, but those little things like that, it'll be a city.
Okay. All right, what's the point here?
So, Mr. Davis, how many homes do you have in that area?
Well, you know, as I stated earlier, from Magnet School, with the pressure that's gonna come,
What is it, 20?
you know,
At least.
uh-huh.
At least.
So at least come and do an assessment on that, and because sometimes you just do the curb and gutter, you know, just come in.
But
and
it's
it was
a question about how many homes, what's your, I mean, what's your take on that?
Well, just
How many
saying-
do you think that, I mean, we said about 20.
Well, I just basically went to that owner on
Okay.
debate, and I was able to look at the next two houses up and the next couple houses down. And I listened, but I listened to do an overall assessment of how many homes.
Yeah, cause
Anything for you, Tom?
the ones that are closer to the top,
Right,
that wouldn't be as bad, because
No,
that is on a
it's
higher
not-
elevation.
Yeah.
you know, the only issue we had with them before was when the school was built, the, sediment from the schools was getting
Right.
into,
Right.
the culverts there, that I think got the rectified.
Right at the corners, yeah.
Yeah, so, it may, no, it's more than 8, cause it's 5. Mrs. Sanders' house is the 5th house from the bottom,
Yeah.
on the left-hand side.
But if you fix that side of the street, you need to fix it.
Yeah, I'm saying,
This
I'm saying more than 5, cause it's 5, and she's the 5th house, and if you send one right before her, that's at least 6 or 7, and then you got the other house on the side, so give or take a dog between.
So to answer the question, we'll do an assessment and get back with you on that.
But all of them are gonna require,
Yeah.
you know, that stimulating type of work.
Yeah.
So again, it's just a matter of cleaning them out.
Can we do this? So the point here is to do an assessment.
Yes, sir.
Is that right? And that assessment is with or without Wagner.
Okay.
Okay, I'm asking the question, that's with. So if that is the case, then we need to authorize
Engineer.
you in coordination with the engineer to do an assessment of the proposed area.
Yes, sir.
If I can get a motion on that and get a second, then we can move on to the next step.
So motion second.
Yes, Ms. Copeland, so the covers that you're planning, are they gonna be larger or what?
Well, actually, they right there, out of the way, give it to him. The water is back up there, you putting a lot of cover in it, not gonna take away.
So I guess we'll get that assessment when.
Well,
the
right.
engineers will-
Yeah.
We can get an assessment.
Yeah. But what I was trying to do, with the people that we have in place that are doing this all the time,
Right.
they can give us a better idea of what we're gonna be looking at before the engineers even look at it. I mean, it's in-house education is what I'm asking for.
Right.
Because you all are on the ground every day doing this, and, you know, when all the lady guilty may ask, you know, what size cover do you recommend or think will go here? You know, sometimes we need spontaneous answers. I mean, although it may be trumped to some degree, but we can get a better idea. You all do this. You're the professionals.
Right.
You're the experts. So this is why these types of questions come from laboring people to get a better idea. Okay.
All right. Who did the motion, who did the second?
So what area we just in?
North, I mean,
It's called an AB, but it has to have a name.
Evaluation of culverts for replacement or repair,
Okay.
due to erosion on North Johnson, North Canal,
Okay, North Johnson
North Johnson, North
and North Canal.
and North Canal.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Guilty, aye.
Wells, aye.
Tim Taylor.
And,
We missed it.
Is that it?
Yeah, all this is out, yeah.
I need that motion. Is that it?
That's
Is
it.
everyone on the motion carried? Before we go to item 6, is that the one that's next?
I'm sorry, Mayor. So
Go ahead.
The motion is to allow Wagner to go and do the assessment, right?
Right.
Right, evaluation of North Johnson, North Canal.
Is that that's the overall objective?
Yes.
But what about the roads at that specific entrance?
All the way you can
I'll just make sure because
How they gonna do all this stuff, man?
that's the issue that,
That's the budget, get back at your.
that's the issue at hand.
I'm gonna find all of them gonna give it, gonna let us get by.
Yeah.
That's coming next tonight.
a great job.
505, she will forget that.
I just want to mention that before we go to item 6, I cannot allow this issue to pass by. And I said to you, men and women, you have to be real careful when people purport a history as it relates to the validity of it. And I really want to say to you that King was here in 63, 64, and then the other gentleman who was shot, Meredith, marched through.
James Meredith.
James married. So when I came here in '72, King did not come during that decade, now that James married.
Yeah, he'd already been assassinated.
He had already been. And so the point of the matter is this, is that I clearly remember my history and my victimization and all of the racial issues that I ran into, the colored waiting rooms and the white waiting rooms and all of that stuff. Ms. Francie Goodlow never served as an intermediary in my journey. I was there, Ed Blackman was there, Courtney Shade was there, Isaac Jackson was there, and a whole lot of folks. And so I just want to get this history straight. Because people claim, and that's why I stopped there, people claim what they have done for you. She never talked to Mr. Whittington for me. And I never talked to Mr. Whittington either. But it was a dark space and a dark place in the history of most African Americans here in Canton. I just happened to have been one who graduated from medical school, who did like my grandmama said, "You're going to get you some education," which is what I did, but it didn't do any good as a consequence of trying to get in that hospital staff. So I came in '72. It was 1987 when I got on staff. And on the way that I got on staff, it was all of the African American physicians from J. Carmichael voted for me. Not one white physician voted for me to be on staff. And the rest is history. So it just bothers me when people try to write a history as it relates to me. That's not true. As it relates to item 6.
Mayor, if I may, before you go forward.
Yes.
In 62, 63, 64, and 66, a lot of things were going on in this particular city. Now, I was not there, but due to the reading that I've read, the 62 pitching of the tent solar in that deal. I think a lot of you have seen the Eye on the Prize that took place right here in Canton, Mississippi. The idea was to lure Dr. King here before the famous I Have a Dream speech in Washington, D.C. And I think the attempt was to kill him. You don't have to listen to what I say. Just go read the Sovereignty Commission, the White Citizen Council papers that they revealed some 20 years ago. Some of the stuff is going to shock you because some of the people, parents that you may know, you'll find out that they contradicted what they were actually doing in this particular city. People were up front on one phase, but yet they were selling out on another end. The 3 civil rights workers that were killed in Philadelphia, Mississippi, came from Canton prior to somebody tipped them off from Canton that they were headed to Philadelphia. And that's where their lives ended at. So our history, to some degree, is the story. Everybody who claimed they walked across the Edmund Pettus Bridge, they didn't walk, and I think some of that stuff is in the Sovereignty Commission's files. And I don't know what Ms. Swanson did, but if you read our history, you're going to see a young William Truly documented quite a bit. And, so for what we have right now in our presence, we have to appreciate it, go forth with it. And I don't know, Dr. King said in one speech, the truth will stand. And if the truth is crushed to earth, it will rise again. It may rise in a different form, but it will rise. So when we look at these things, 62, 63, 64, and of course we know in 68, he was assassinated. In 67, he was up in the Delta with a young Robert Kennedy, and they did a documentary on this particular state, Harvest the Shame, talking about the poverty in the state of Mississippi. And when we look back at the improvements of that, we had sugar ditch, now we got casinos in Mississippi. So when we look at those horrific times, we look at how damaging they were, but we look at people who were relentless in what we have now. And, to some degree, we have to appreciate what we have. And that's why our elections in the state of Mississippi and the city of Canton, they have to be open and fair. And people cheating, it should not be tolerated because so many people died for a particular right. And when we don't do it right, we show no service to them. You might as well just say, forget it, throw it out the window. It means absolutely nothing. And I'm not just saying this because I'm a candidate. I'm saying it because many of our ancestors that we don't know died for a cause, and it was not for a cause too cheap. Thank you, Mayor, so very much.
Item 6.
Let's move on down to 6 o'clock. Getting to item 6.
You know what?
Item 6, I need a motion.
That's what we get paid for.
That's right.
That's right.
I don't know if I can still, are we gonna agree to just wait on the 1-505, or can we take?
Wanna do what now?
On replacing her cover, or we gonna wait until?
She wanted to isolate it. You wanna vote on it,
Yeah,
right?
I do.
Okay, we can vote.
Yeah,
You wanna make a motion?
I'm motion that we replace her culverts.
Who is
It's gotta be based on the fact.
Due to possible, so do I need to wait until the engineers?
Yeah.
I mean, if they can make it for you, the board is, now this is all subject to judicial review, but if the board makes a factual finding of that, then that stands on its own, subject to judicial review. So I think Mr. Davis is coming to vote, based on what they said, if that's suitable for you all, we can vote on that.
Alright, you made a motion? You made a motion?
Before we're gonna go back with, because you know, that clause they have to sign, that paper, before we're gonna put it back, he said it's concrete pad.
It is concrete there.
Yeah.
Now that part, we'll have to discuss it.
Yeah, that's, you need to put that motion in.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're gonna do it.
Okay.
We're gonna-
Okay. Well, I motion that we would replace her culvert and, make concrete instead of asphalt.
We're gonna bear the expense, because normally they pay for the cover, right? Okay.
Bear the expenses, due to what?
Do you have a second?
Second.
Follow.
Yes,
Again,
That's right.
How many ayes we got?
You didn't get that one.
Motion carried.
Oh,
Move.
yeah, it's not about that.
Yes,
You vote?
I am, yes. Okay.
I'm motion carried.
Because I don't know, I haven't been.
Item 6, approve the claims and contractual matters.
Effectively, don't let it be 2 months from now before it be done.
Alright.
So, the person that's responsible, y'all hear that? It's not just you, Mr. Davis.
I know what I'm talking about, but basically, get out there, get someone to come out there and cut it out and replace it with concrete.
Yes, sir.
Alright?
Thank you.
We're gonna consent the entry form, so every time we're on private property, learn it, I'll send it to you. So you gotta get her permission to go on her property and let her sign it.
Excuse
I could contact them, make sure they can get it taken care of. I'm gonna make sure they put some casting in, gonna get hard to be ready.
Alright.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Item 6 was still on. Yeah.
You know?
and, I said y'all need a vote.
We need a motion. Do we have a second?
Man, you know we have,
Alderman Flynn made a motion.
No, I said y'all
I
need
was
it.
asking them to do that.
Yeah, we need a motion.
I don't think we can do anything with it until we,
You wanna review it first?
yeah, you know what, we got one of those items and then we paid that we, took off the agenda till attorney reviewed it, the documents on.
So we 9 and 10.
One of them, one of these items is on the docket to be paid.
It's on the claim side?
It's on the claim docket.
I thought it was
Item number 8.
Eight, 9, and 10.
yeah.
Yeah, item 9 and 10, but item 9 is on the claims docket to be paid.
What's the claim side?
Well, there was not. Process $45.
Oh, 9 is 505.
No,
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Remove them from the claim side.
That's what-
If they're on the claim side, you need to remove them from the claim side.
okay.
Yeah, these two are already separate.
Well, okay.
You don't want that on the claim side, you want them twice.
Right, one of them on the claim docket. Just a minute. Okay. I just said one of them is coming. Right. Mayor, I must approve the claims docket, but we must remove
Which one is on there?
Item,
Is it $8,000?
lighthouse, new lighthouse on the claim.
I'll second that.
Remove lighthouse,
Right, from the claim side.
that's been a second by Alderman. That's good as well.
Right.
All in favor?
Wells, I. Brown, I, cause he is already.
That's all right.
Ken,
Yeah, yeah.
Motion carried. Item 7, do we have a motion? Authorize and approve the use of modernization funds to pay the following.
Attorney, is this?
Yeah, I got it. Y'all make a motion, or do y'all want me to just talk about it? So, we talked about it last night, and I said I would look, and so after I pulled my research that I found, I see that in September, we did a list of the streets. I didn't see Soldier Colony, Hempfield, and Parker and Barfield on there. I think, and I sent an email to you here too, I think those are the MCWI grant funds that we already said. What did we say? Clerk, you shaking your head.
Mr. Garrett, will you inform them on what's included in the MCW? I know you sent me an email, but I can't put my hand on it.
That's right. So the MCWI project was solely for the Canton Drainage Improvements Project,
Okay.
which is, originally was 7 locations, but now it's down to 3 sites, because those were the only ones able to obtain easements. And that is East Sims, Nest, and Henry Village. Parker Street and Soldiers Colony are not part of the MCWI program.
So for this one, I pulled the contract, so we got a contract on the Soldiers Colony Road Improvements.
That's right.
This one, this was in September 30th, around the same time that we sent this out. And my only issue with that would be, like when I look at the, and we need to look at it, and maybe Mr. Eric Clark and I can look at it closely. Like when I looked at the Parker Street Barfield improvements, it's a letter dated July 2nd, 2024, for $279,000. It has a list of the description of the items, and pursuant to that revised Modernization Act statute, let's see, you can utilize the funds for repair, maintenance, reconstruction of roads, streets, and bridges, but it may not be used for salaries, benefits, or any form of compensation for employees, contract employees, or administrative costs. So my only issue with this is we've already entered into a contract with them, is maybe we need to see about doing an amended contract with them and making sure they understand that they cannot use any of the money on salaries and employees if that's included in this. And they need to do an amendment and do an identification group, they pay the city back if they do that. Because the statute, they would have to recognize that they cannot use any of the funds for that, since we're using for Modernization Act. If you're gonna use Modernization Act. The company, we have to do an amended contract, so they understand that they can't use those funds for that.
But if you understand that some of these streets on here do not fit under the modernization fund, but some other funds.
And so that's the thing, we need to look at everything on their bid document, like on these, like everything what they submitted, and see what can be used on those repair, maintenance, and reconstruction, and what would not fit into it. But, because to me, I'm not a engineer expert, but most of the stuff looks like it could, but I can't say.
Oh, so what you're saying is the invoice they submitted shouldn't have any labor.
Yeah, what they submitted, and they need to do like an amended agreement that they understand that they cannot pay any of their employees with the money that they get from our.
So that's all this should be used for material.
Labor, material construction, repair, maintenance, and reconstruction of roads, streets, and bridges. And it says monies may not be used for salaries, benefits, or any form of compensation for employees, contract employees, if they would be a contractor, administrative costs, and debt service, except for provided herein. So that's what that new statute says for July 1st.
Well, let me ask this question. Can this item 7 also set aside for review by attorney land?
And I think you said look at the detail, and we can submit out there.
Can you give me a motion to set this aside?
So when, because these are the people that we owe.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to let us know.
We
set item 7 aside until there's an assessment between Attorney Banks and Wagon Engineer with relevance to item 7. There's been a motion and a second, all in favor?
Well, line.
That's what.
Okay. Yeah, where is she? Where is she?
You got
Brown,
Until,
Motion carried. I want to ask this board a question, and maybe all of Mr. Wells can help me out here. Some kind of a way we did not put Ms. Donna down, whom some of us wanted to hear today.
Yeah.
And in the sake of time, can we get her and let her go? How do we want to do that? Don't matter. That's the simplest. No, we're not doing that.
now, if this is no disrespect to Ms. Dow, we adopt her. Dow. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Hi, everyone. Happy New Year.
Yes, nice, I'm getting old and my ears get paid. But we have adopted the agenda, and I know we can amend it, but just keep that in mind. I don't think we got any guests in here, but just to make sure that we are, I'm sorry, we do. And, just to make sure that we're following the rules of order, just for, this particular situation. I know Mrs. Goodlow Wright was on the agenda last night, and she said she didn't know, about it, so just, so we're still a little afraid, that's all. Because if you ever look at jambalaya.com, you know, we get hit quite a bit for everything, so.
Let's just have a mayor motion that we had.
Oh, yeah, that's all I'm saying.
Second.
All in favor?
You got
Well,
Brown, that's what.
Motion carried. I'm heading her under 7A. You may proceed.
Okay, thank you. Happy New Year to everyone. I just wanted to give y'all a quick update of where we are on everything. We've gotten a lot done in a short period of time. We were able to connect the Department of Archives and History with y'all's historic committee, and they've made a connection. They've gotten their reports in. And so the fellow with the Department of Archives wants to meet with us sometime this month, as soon as he reviews all the reports. So we'll get back on track with the state program for the historic committee and that sort of thing. One of the things that's become very, a really good opportunity, I think, for Canton, and especially for it to come from City Hall or the mayor's office, is to create a campaign on saving historic buildings in Canton. And the reason I think that would be important is there are a tremendous amount of benefits, taxes, tax breaks, grants, all sorts of things for people to maintain a historic building in Canton. And I don't think people are aware of that. And then there are a lot of other benefits. So that's one thing I would suggest. I've been working with John. John's been great to work with on some projects. So we're kind of coordinating and going to make some things happen. One of the things that's already actually happened, and I'm working with Alvin on this, is we have a public site over by the baseball field that's been designated as a urban farm. And we have applied for all of the pieces and parts that are needed, like raised beds, high tunnels, irrigation, all those sort of things. So that's gonna come through, and then in March, I'll be able to apply for a grant to actually pay to hire somebody to put that project together. So it doesn't take away from your current employees, but it will actually create jobs. And to add the educational component. So that one's going extremely well. I've been writing grants. We've got 2 that I'm working on right now. And I've been working with Jacqueline on making sure that they're through the YEL system, because a lot of times when I write grants, you've got UEI numbers and you can write them under any UEI number, but you have to coordinate with that city to do that. So, I'm working on that rural development grant, and the reason that was important, I've already had 2 meetings with those folks, is because it is the one that we were gonna write to do a feasibility study about the revitalization of that historic section of town from the railroad tracks to the square. So that was real important, and that one's not due until the middle of February. So I've almost got that one finished, and we'll get it turned in under y'all's UEI number. One of the others, well, there's several. There's been like 4 of them. The other one is a USDA contract to talk about innovative urban plantings, so like urban forestry. And I did a couple of virtual makeovers on y'all's community of before and afters, and I'll pass these around. These aren't great. I was just playing on the computer when I did these. So some low-cost ways that we can start actually getting that section of the historic downtown sort of attractive and appealing. So it's just some concept ideas on that as well. Let me think what else. John and I have collected, well, John already had them, but we've been looking at all of your planning documents that you've done in the past. And what we're gonna do with those is pull things out that are good for today. Not, 10 years ago, but what the city needs for today. And we're gonna pull those out and put together a request for our congressional spending, or congressional planning. So that we're not having to do more studies, more planning, more of all that kind of thing. You already have it. We just need to put all the pieces together. So we're working on that as well. We've made a number of contacts with USDA contacts that we have. And John has a contact with a grant provider that we're going to be meeting with in a couple of weeks from now. And that's kind of just and there's been a bunch of other things, but that's kind of just an overall, because I know you've got a lot of business to cover. John, you want to add anything?
The last partner she's talking about is
Come on to
the last partner that Donna's talking about is the Keller Foundation. They cover 3 states, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Arkansas. And she has some creative community development concepts that we want to see if we can marry those with the core principles of the Keller Foundation. Keller Foundation's core principle is really education. And what she's doing and what we're putting together is a basis rooted in educating young folks, citizens of Canton, about different things that can affect the quality of life in that community. So that's the only thing.
Thank you, John. Any questions?
Yes, I may, Mayor. You mentioned earlier about the historical buildings in the city. I know there's a designation or an emphasis put on the square. But what about other buildings throughout the city? One in particular that should be great concern is the old African-American County Street School. It's in despair, and I know it's a historical place by all of the old articles that are at the library on this particular school. Will there be any emphasis in that? I know Canton Public Schools is about to get a boatload of money. I understand that. I don't know what's going to be dedicated to that, but I know right now it's only being used as a storage facility. I know when the floods hit up, there's no telling how much damage that water has done to this particular old structure in the city. But if you go back, and I would challenge anybody to go back over there and look at all the graduations of that particular time, you'll see some very memorable people who helped build the city. Will there be any emphasis put on structures of that nature?
Well, I think that's very important, because what we've talked about is just that one strip of the downtown area from the tracks to the square. But what you're saying is so important that we identify all of these buildings in Canton, and we talk about what are the benefits to saving those buildings, and what are some strategies to try to do that. And that's one of the reasons I think a citywide campaign to be I don't know if directive is the right word, but initiated by the city and by the mayor's office, that we have an educational program to promote the value of these historic buildings, why they're important, how you benefit from saving them, If they're owned by private individuals, how does that individual, benefit from that? Because there's a lot of tax breaks in that whole arena, and there's a lot of things that are unknown. What I would suggest is that we get the NDAH people in for a meeting and tell us everything you know about it. And then create a citywide campaign identifying the sites and looking at some strategy. And I think that being a directive from the city or the mayor's office would carry a lot of weight for the leadership to take charge of that and say, we want to do everything we can to save these buildings and save its history.
That particular school deserves the same acknowledgement and money put into it at the Smith Robinson Museum in Jackson.
But see, people probably don't know that.
Yeah, I mean.
And so education is really where it's gonna be on this historic thing.
Yeah, yeah, it's just a question, because I know at one of the school board meetings, there was some dialogue, it was negative, I understand, you know, when certain people show up, it gets negative. Well, I fight for what's right, and that's all I'm saying. We can't continue to keep tearing down structures if we're gonna preserve history. You tear down history, you tear down a building, there's no history to preserve. Only talk, and that's what the mayor just alluded to. Some of the stuff may not be factual, and if we're gonna stay on the side of being factual, we have to have something tangible to touch. And that, you know, so that's where my interest would be, not that I'm taking away from the square, but all historical places and buildings in the city of Canton.
Well, I think that's what this campaign should look at.
Okay.
It's all it does. I've, over the last 30 years, traveled all over the state and the country, working with cities. A lot of them don't have anything left.
Right.
And they're toast. Canton is not. Canton still has a lot to fight for.
Okay.
So I think it's important for everyone to make that happen.
Okay.
And I think education, letting people know where are the buildings, what's the history, why is it important? So.
Okay, thanks.
Mr. Greer.
And, just to add to what Don is talking about, we're trying to organize how to go about these community development efforts. And we're looking at quadrants, so like she told you, she took a picture from the went to the railroad track and took a picture all the way in that you see, and she sort of marked it up. That's from the meeting we had. That we're trying to define the main entrance into the city that we want to see first. Try to work with that. So we're working with this quadrants coming into the city. And then we can organize and look at other areas, such as the Cameron School that's over here. And maybe get with the school board and talk about its historical factor, how it's played into the community, and see how we can be helpful with that.
The meeting is next Tuesday at 5:30, love to see that. I'll be there. All right.
Thank y'all.
Thank you. Item 8. Authorize approved payment of $9,102.82 from the general fund for repair to reserve bridge number 31 suspension system.
Mayor, motion that we approve from number 8 gas bridge.
Do we have a second?
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Yes, sir.
You know,
Motion carried. I think we were informed to skip for right now item 9 and 10 and go to item 11. Dr. Anderson, did you read 9 and 11, please?
Approve ratification of the city of Canton's camera ordinance to include language that addresses penalty and enforcement actions, and language to include that cameras must encompass the entire complex and/or business for and in the safety of the citizens of Canton.
I think that should be in addition to that motion. And it might be, I'm just wondering if we need any coordination with the police department. We may not necessarily put that, but that was the intent of the Yeah, well, yesterday we talked about cameras.
What,
We were talking about enforceability.
what about the penalty? What lands are we paying?
Yeah, the penalty has not been added. Whether the penalty was $100 a day, $500 a day.
Not to see $500 for each violation.
Oh.
What we paying?
Already $500? Okay, well, it's not been enforced then.
We didn't know that they have penalty of safety.
That's what we talked about yesterday. So the penalty is already attached, so that becomes moot. So what's not on here, and I guess we will do it later, we don't have to do it today, and that is the gated entrances and exits at these apartment complexes. That's not on there today, we don't need to have them here today, we can do it the next meeting.
Now, what you might want to change now is that we did put in there that the dwelling issued an occupancy permit prior to October 31st, 2024, shall have until April 1st, 2025 to comply. You want to change that?
So for the apartment complexes,
Yeah, they have until April 1st, 2025 to comply. You might want to change that.
for the camera system.
Yeah.
So
You might
that's
want to
good.
change that compliance date. Because you were trying to get people fined about all correctly.
Well, you're absolutely correct, but Chief, could you take a stand, please?
Sure.
The issue here is the kind of camera system that we're putting at these apartment complexes, Canton State, Canton Park, and all this stuff. And so, you ought to have a camera system, I'm gonna say for the lack of a better explanation, a drone system, a camera that has the eyes to see what's going on at that apartment complex. For an example, if you go into the Meadows, you enter and you exit, but no one really knows what's happened between the pathways of those apartment complexes. So somebody can actually be bang, bang, shot down in front of an apartment complex, and there would be no camera to pick it up. I think maybe I've been watching movies too long, or something, but I think Stan Beasley had a system.
It'd just be by the placing, where they have them placed at the covered area. Most cameras is not, some cameras where they have them placed at, they do catch some of the action that's going on, but you can tell by the body language of the person, when things like that take place, the body language of the moving, the going, the coming, you'll be able to put two and two together and do that. Be able to tell when that crime is being committed.
Yeah.
In that same area.
Right, and I guess if the camera's there, and someone is making an exit or an entrance, you'll be able to see
We'll be able to see.
that car, maybe hopefully that person, hopefully that tag. I think that's what we're saying. You're more of an expert at this than anybody else, but it's just a matter of positioning those cameras to try to catch as much as you possibly can. I don't know what Stan has over there, apparently.
He
He has multiple
He
cameras.
had multiple,
Multiple cameras.
but he had it set that was 4K, that was able to pick up conversation and action.
That
So
4K
even
one,
action to hear
The
what
4K, what now?
4K, which could actually hear, spoken words as well as capture the image.
that camera system that he's talking about with the 4K, he has that at the complex over off Holmes Avenue. That's not at the Joe Pritchard home, the Joe Pritchard home cameras. They got so many cameras so they can catch all angles, where they got them anchored, in place that they can catch people coming and going.
Okay.
The 4K is good, you catch the language and everything, so that is good. But I will ask that we move it back from April and shorten it to March, because of, if we go all the way out to April, with things going on in the city everywhere, I just think that's too long.
Okay.
I think we need to shorten it to the end of March, and once we shorten it to the end of March, that's enough time for us to get out and try to look and see and to come back to the board with a report and let you know it's cameras at, Tim Taylor's complex, it's cameras at Mr. Wells' complex and all of that. So we'll be able to see in a collective effort from the police department and the, zoning department, with them out doing zoning code enforcement, that the people do have cameras.
Well, let me ask this question, I can through. Is there a plan that the department has for the business folk to comply with the ordinance camera system?
The plan is fine, if they don't comply.
Okay,
That's
we
the plan.
haven't been doing that.
No, we hadn't done that at all.
But moving forward.
Moving forward,
That
yes,
would be
we
a
plan to
plan.
do that.
Okay.
Pretty much effective, you want to change it to effective March 30th.
March 30. Yeah, let's change it to March 30. That's enough time because with things going on here in the city, not just only shooting, but people ganging up in these certain areas, we'll be able to see some of that and can put two and two together and go forward with the penalty on people.
Okay, so the businesses,
Hold on, because this, if it's set for April 1st, making it March 30th on one day, so that ain't gonna work.
March 30th, that's the thing.
If it was set for April 1st, just on one day, we should change it to March 30th.
What date do you really want, Chief?
Yeah, what day?
March 30.
Okay,
That's the day I want.
But let me ask you this question, Margaret, before we go on. So the kind of cameras that the business people will have, those cameras are different from the cameras that the complexes will have.
Yeah, I'm quite sure of that.
Okay, all right.
We're not putting a stipulation on what kind of cameras, that we want them to get. That'll be up to their own people to put what kind of cameras they want. 'Cause a lot of people buy cameras off Amazon and all of that. We just want to be able to capture when things take place. We go back and look at the cameras, see if they got cameras, and go back and look at them. They allow us to look at them and it can help solve the crime. It's just an extra eye in the sky. Police can't be everywhere. So,
But in response to that, isn't it true that some of these business folks get put up an inexpensive camera that doesn't do the job, or the complexes put up a Mickey Mouse camera that doesn't give you the information that you need? In other words, I guess I'm asking, does the department need to set a kind of model that, for the sake of safety, that you would be looking for this and not this, not this, not this?
I think we can put in the language that
Okay.
when they purchase these cameras, be able to go back
All right, that's
a certain amount of time,
right, okay.
and you know how long do the footage stay on there. I think Ms. Banks already had it in there.
Yeah, we got some, we got
Do
some.
those cameras have a certain name that actually go back?
We just have to maintain 24-hour security cameras on each building, have a field view of 180 degrees. And with the view of each open space designated for ingress egress.
You can look at a Ring doorbell camera, you know, something
Set that
happens.
resolution at 1080.
Yeah, but you can look at a Ring doorbell camera, you can go back and look at it on your phone. It stays on there for like, I think 30 days.
All right.
And you can go back and look at it. If something happens in between that time, you can present it to the police department. The one I got stayed on 30 days. You can purchase it at Amazon, Walmart. Not for the apartment complex, though. Just talking about for homes and all that.
Okay. But you just said something that's interesting because it might be of relevance. We were talking about safety, I don't know if we do it or not. They have Ring doorbell cameras with new homes and new subdivisions. All in tell.
In addition to that, Attorney Lawrence Blackman came before us talking about the possibility of getting money for cameras in the city of Canton. And now, I know this is not gonna go to dedicated businesses, but have you all mapped out where these particular cameras may go in the city?
No, I have mapped out where I think they need to be at,
Okay,
on the purposes of how many we gonna get. But interesting extras out of the city, and in places like that, put them up. But these cameras here, what we're talking about would be hopefully on poles or something like that to catch the street,
Okay.
pass bys, something like that. Like that, I can actually say, if we had a camera, if MDOT would put a camera up, King Ranch and 22. They didn't put a camera there. Now I did talk to, Hickenbach, I think that's his name, for the county. I talked to him, and, he's gonna get, for them to get them to put one up on that red light. So if something takes place down King Ranch and they come out and make an exit onto Peach Street, or just go all the way over to Fulton Street, if someone can give us a description or something, we would have that, and we would have to get with them, and they'll be able to play that back for us. But we had our own cameras there, we could just go back and look at that. That'll be one entrance way and exit way right there before going out to the interstate. It's a flock camera right now, where MDOT also has a camera right there at the interstate. Right there at exit 119, there's a camera there too on the red light, in case things when they come in and out of there. It was just something, we just have to contact them to look at it when things take place. And that's good if we can get a good description when things take place.
Mayor, one more thing. This whole concept is based on deterrence. As you indicated, the police can't be everywhere. We understand that. And along with that deterrence, you know, people who are gonna commit crimes, they are informed individuals. We can't take it for granted that they're not intelligent individuals. So with that, this is only a suggestion from the city's behalf. Mayor, I think that we should at least do something in the public service announcement as to what the city's gonna do to continue to put forth an effort to keep this a safe city. We already have labels of sanctuary cities, so the city can, with the population that we have now, I hope that we would take under consideration to communicate this, maybe through a press conference or some kind of way, and that will add to the deterrence that will go forward with what we're trying to do in protecting the city. I think you indicated or stated that we've had 8 homicides thus far in 2024. So with 8 homicides and a population this size, it could be a deterrence to future business owners who want to come here. I know what we got to do. I know we got to build up our police department, but even with building it up, that's a source of deterrence. So, you know, whatever we can do to enhance deterrence, right? If we have to go on, if the mayor has to call a press conference and say what we're doing to make the city even safer, it's a deterrence on one behalf, and then they click off in somebody's head, well, Canton's trying to get it right. Let's try Canton. So I don't know if that's something that we would consider, but I hope it would be, some thought would be put to it.
Well, it has been thought put to that, and I know the mayor will do that once we meet with Senator Blackman there and put all the compile all that together, and we're able to get cameras. I'm quite sure whoever's going to be around going to get up and make an announcement. We got eyes in the sky here in the city.
There you go.
Yeah, so I know that will take place. If it don't take place, then if I'm still the police chief, yeah, that's what I do.
And I love the city capture. The eyes of the world watching Mississippi. Canton, Mississippi. What do you think about that, Mayor?
That's good.
Yes, there is a plan to do that.
Okay.
Make people aware.
As much information as possible.
Thank you. So,
Thank you.
So we'll vote it on item 11 as is. Man. Alderman Marquis Blunt. Then followed by Alderman.
No, that's just a review.
How will we relay this information to the complex on?
To the home?
To the people on complex?
Oh, we will. One, go ahead, Chief, you have the answer.
We relate municipal, to the complex only by taking our ordinance over there and giving it to them. Because a lot of the managers that manage these apartments, they're looking for the ordinance so they can give it to them. Like I said, Canton State, that lady over there always asking us to bring ordinance to them when we get to the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Get rid of the sidebar over there. You got 3 sidebars. Y'all hold on to the chief finishes.
That's one portion that we will be taking the orders to the complex and give it to the manager who's gonna do it, and they can relay it to their owners, whoever the owner are, or we can, I guess we can send one to them, and we get the email address or whatever, we can send it to them to let them know.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
On item, forever termination of intent to proceed with punitive promissory note in the amount of $560,000, no cents. Approve the purchase of 2 new side loader refuse trucks.
No.
Well, the issue was, what's the punitive promissory note? So the issue here is, we did a promissory note because we,
Use the funds, use the funds, and the trucks have already been remitted to payment, so I did a memorandum, based on the statutory use of the funds.
so we need a resolution for that.
I mean.
How we gonna use
Are
it?
we gonna proceed, yeah, are you gonna do possibly with the trunk, or are you gonna do, what do y'all wanna do?
So this is what we did. We purchased the trucks with the opera.
Right.
And so then the money, so Brady Powell said, look, it may be an X amount of time before we finally approve this. And they finally approved it, I guess a week ago. That $560,000. So the question now is, you can't replenish the opera funds, but how do we use these funds?
Because you noticed, you've done the notice, and you provide due process to the citizens. When I submitted that, there's a new case filed in November, it talks about due process for bonds and all that kind of stuff, and notes and loans. And you satisfied your due process requirement, but it was for the purchase of the car. That was your notice. So if you're gonna do something else, you need to do like a resolution, you know, redo that.
Yeah, we needed a
If
resolution.
you're gonna do that,
Okay,
you're gonna use something else.
for the boys and whatever that's something.
We need one
to do.
You don't have to, now, if you do one truck, you don't really have to change, you don't have to change anything, if you've already noticed, but it's to me, that's satisfaction, because you got it's specific enough to have reference, even though the number changes, change it. I'm gonna do a little subtext on it in the number, but if you're gonna change it totally, within it, you we have to know it's over there.
I think we need to take a look at, the, multipurpose complex, whatever we're gonna do. And the Boys and Girls Club, whatever we're gonna do there. Now, the Boys and Girls Club need to be spiced up, spruced up, fixed up, painted. I think we need to have Chris do a walkthrough, see what that's gonna cost, but we don't know. But I do know that the multipurpose complex, you might be looking at $100,000. According to, well,
The roof itself is 75, no, it's more than.
yeah, the roof is 775. Then you got the bathroom bar.
In the kitchen.
Well, you're right, you got to purchase one more truck.
Why?
That's when they originally asked for 3 trucks.
We don't do we need to?
What was
You know they gonna say yes.
No, the original, that was the original, but the reason we.
How much is that there?
See, that's what I'm saying, because we didn't want to go over the percentage, the reason you didn't do 3.
Oh, you really don't?
Yeah.
What's that one truck cost?
So,
What truck probably cost that one garbage truck?
$289. That's $300,000.
No, just one.
Okay.
You need one extra? That's the,
We've already purchased two.
He originally asked for three.
Right.
Right, I thought, well, we have one.
No, he asked for three additional.
Oh, 3 additional.
Yeah, but we did
That's
that.
one additional, wasn't it? But we bought two. He said he needs
well,
another.
we already have one.
Well,
You wanted 3 for.
he wanted three
Extra.
One total fleet of 4.
I wanted total for it for.
Right,
Leave
leave
them
them four. That's what that was.
But do you have to have everything you want?
I took the words out of my mouth.
You have to have everything you want at the time you want it.
No, you don't have to.
I didn't think so.
No. As all I'm saying, we don't want to be a pistol food with the trash.
No, we got the trucks, and the other point while we're doing this is that I talked to David Holloway,
Okay.
and so, and it's supposed to be tonight, and so what he's talking about is a 6-month continued payment with a CPI of 5.5%. That means that we'll be paying like $70,000 a month for another 6 months, which is $420,000, which makes no sense to me if the trucks are here. So maybe we can do 1 month or 2 months.
That's what I thought that was the original
Yeah.
verbiage.
He said it
2
would be
months.
higher if you did it shorter.
He said,
You need to come back.
it would be
Oh,
more.
man, that's commission. That's more commission.
Where's Ms. Hall with us again?
Call me, look, I was gonna say.
Because he asked for
He's
three
on the
months in the beginning, he said it would be much more expensive.
Well, we can come back to that in
Yeah.
another way, but I'm just talking about, look, the board has the final say, so I'm just talking about if anything, it should be 1 or 2 months.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 months, February, March, just to be safe.
How
So,
soon?
because you said the trucks are the trucks already in Canton?
Two of them.
Two of them.
When will the third one come?
It'd be probably by the end of the month.
Building it, like you said.
Yeah, I sent the serial number out today, okay, truck, down, I didn't have the price on it.
Well, let me ask you a question. So, how long is it gonna take to train someone to operate these new trucks safely?
They're ready to go.
We had that a long time ago.
Yeah, they already.
Are they ready to go?
They're ready.
Yeah.
I hope these trucks don't end up at the Vinny.
At the end,
Bring some kind of stop. I don't know whether it's the Vinny or wherever we send
That
our
was
trucks.
lawnmower.
Yeah.
Back to the
Yeah,
lawnmower.
that was
Have you got a
lawnmower.
label with the city?
Those are the lawnmowers.
they're working on that.
They're working on that.
As a matter of fact, I talked to them, they said it's just too cold to platinum.
Okay.
You know, they have to be just for certain temperatures to get everything to stick right on. But they got all that in the process.
So is he gonna sell this last truck the same price he sold the other ones?
Yes, same price.
Okay.
That truck was the same price.
Okay.
Well, let me ask the board a question. So we need to make a decision whether the extension is gonna be 1 month or 2 months. So if it's at 2 months, that might be the same.
At least 2.
Yeah, that'd be February, March.
Is that your recommendation?
What, January?
That was the original.
January's gone.
January, no.
January.
What you think you can actually do that with? 1 month or 2 months?
Sure.
Started on May 1st.
May 3rd?
That's 4 months.
Yeah, you're right, so we start picking up in first.
2004 is 28, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's $28,000.
Well, see, man, and January gone.
January ago,
January's gone.
all practical purposes.
Yeah.
You know,
So you're talking about
if we ask them for 1 month or 2 months, I mean, they don't have any, they don't owe us anything. They might say, we don't want to do it for 1 month.
Yeah.
That was,
Well, we can have a month-to-month contract, can't we?
yeah, just like anything, like you pay for it month to month, you're gonna pay more.
Yeah.
But we don't know how much more though. He said 5.5% CPI.
Yeah, we ought to hear the numbers though.
Well,
So we can hear the numbers if he gets here.
Yeah.
Okay, we wanna put this off until after?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. But no, 12. He got, this is 12 has nothing to do
Okay,
with all.
okay, all right.
Yeah, 12 has nothing to do with it.
Mhm.
And also, there's also one more thing in the memo that I talked about, there's a I know that the, financial advisor, they like capital veto, however, the trustmark note calls for a tax exempt. I cannot and will not make a legal opinion on the tax exemptness of that note. You're gonna need a municipal advisor or somebody to do that. So if you don't go with daylight capital, we need a municipal advisor. I have no say-so, and that's the government authority's discretion. But in order to proceed, you would need some kind of municipal advisor to make that determination. You can take y'all speak about that.
And also, Mayor, someone said something about the lateral that they were asking.
We're asking for two things. One, the trucks are the collateral, but they're also asking for a 20 audit.
No.
That's
if you want the tax anticipation loan, the audit has nothing to do with the trucks. That's in the future, if you want the tax anticipation loan.
Or the tax anticipation. Or if you want the tax anticipation.
You would have to.
So we just need to do a tax anticipation.
We didn't do it this year.
Moving forward, and we want to.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was looking good. He's in executive session anyway.
Come on up, I'm ready. Sorry about that. You can get more of my kids.
Sir.
We need to take consideration of Attorney Banks said, for that,
Municipal
advisor, as well, so we can make that a part of this motion here. Because this was their question, so she can't do it.
I can't do a tax.
So this loan is tax exempt.
That's what they put in their proposal, it says tax exempt.
So,
It says specifically interest rate 5.3% tax exempt.
we give you a motion with that work. We have to find someone we have to agree on someone.
Let's do the word and find somebody. That's right.
Okay.
Do we know what it's gonna cost us to do the municipal advisor?
Well, Larry did $10,000.
Y'all can count whoever you want, you can't count whoever, because a lot of the work has been done. You're not
It sure has.
You're not gonna need somebody to do a whole lot of work.
Yeah.
You just need somebody to fine tune a couple of those financial issues that you need, like tax opinion, and maybe one or two other things.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess what I'm lost at, where I'm lost, the last truck that we purchased, did we do all this?
No.
Was that a tax exemption or did we get a municipal
No.
advisor? So, you know, it seems like stuff is growing on the east side of the tree. And when we get ready to buy stuff, all these things are coming up as to what we need and what we can and can't do. So, I mean, we made purchases of this nature in the past as large. And, you know, all of a sudden it seems like new rules and contracts are being written as to what we can and what we can't do. I know this is not a bond, but just as, when you borrow money from the bank, you do what you want with it, I thought now.
When they put stipulations on it now, the bank is gonna put a stipulation, and they're gonna say it's tax exempt, you've got to make a tax exempt determination.
Well,
The government authority has, so we put that in the bid document.
So is there a reason for this particular purchase to have this associated with?
I don't know, that's what the bank responds.
We're gonna ask Brady Powell.
You can ask him why, you can ask him, can he move, you can
You can
ask him
ask
to
him
change
tomorrow,
it to
because
taxable, I mean.
Today, I'm sorry, he said to me, you can do whatever you wanna do with the money. So Lafayette, you and I can go back over there tomorrow.
Just call and take a look at it.
We'll take the clerk. Yeah. I wanna recognize all the women.
Now, this might sound crazy, and
To the bank?
okay, being that we had approved to use our money, okay, why did we accept money from the bank? We should have, to me, it would make more sense to just say, okay, we found other ways of getting what we were trying to get, as opposed to accepting this loan from the bank. After they said that it was gonna take a long, it was gonna be a lengthy process because of the holidays, and they had to get some stuff reviewed and all of this. So why did we even accept the $506,000?
Because of the intent change.
No, but y'all can, you don't have to do it. That's why I said.
We outright said that we were gonna pay for it, so why go?
That's why
To me, that's like a whole nother bill. We just created a bill by accepting this money.
You don't have to.
Oh, you don't have to.
You don't have to.
You don't have to accept it.
With conditions, with conditions,
Yeah,
almost
so
like
that's what I'm
interest.
saying. So it's like-
Built up interest.
And then we got found, now we have a head, if we keep the money, we have a headache of trying to decide where to spend it. And then we'll sit up here and talk about that $560,000 bill in here. We'll have some trucks that ain't running, we ain't making no money out of and all of this. So for me, it would make more sense not to even accept the loan from the bank. We delegated the money from ARPA, paid for the trucks, and move on.
So what do we do about the multi-purpose complex?
We had money for that.
You put money in three different things off the.
We got money for that, we
Yes.
have money for the boys and girls club.
We working on that too. But our main focus was to get the trucks and get the multi-purpose roof fixed, get the multi-purpose complex fixed. And we had money in ARPA to take.
Is it not enough money left in the ARPA fund to do what we set out in the initiative?
No, because, you know, the MCWI grant,
Doesn't have to be.
That's almost $600.
Like 97,000 to multi-purpose.
Right.
I think 75 of that will possibly patch the roof.
Right.
Yeah.
Alright, who's all in favor of not accepting the money? Let me see your hand, 1, 2. Not 2.
Yes,
I mean-
yeah, what, that third truck, can we handle with the three trucks that we have? Until we can.
Time out. Hold on, sorry to interrupt. I was raising my hand as far as the money goes for the two trucks.
Right.
But if we get another truck, yeah, we gotta find two.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, you said it need three.
You gotta find
Yeah, but that's still.
$1,000.
But we were making do with the three trucks without buying the other truck initially now, so I'm of the same mind. If we said that we could pick up garbage twice a week before now, before we brought up that we got this $560,000, we went down another truck, so all of a sudden, because we have the $560,000 approved, why's that be? Go get another truck now, if we're gonna operate without those many trucks initially,
So you said the intent was to operate.
with the three trucks.
But
One we already had, plus two new ones.
No, well, we just have to do one, once a week then.
do what, one?
How many trucks is Waste Management running on us?
One.
One?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
We got three.
They got one truck in the whole city.
Whole
They
city.
running the whole city.
And we're
I
trying to
think
get,
your truck was bad than our truck.
At the same time.
That's what I'm saying.
He's running once a week, you all run twice a week.
But with three
that
trucks, we
means two
still
trucks.
should be able to
No.
do it.
No.
Yes.
Well,
If this company is doing it once a week,
Let's do
with
that.
one truck.
Let's go to the executive session.
Okay, we'll go to executive session. What's that, same?
Y'all wanna go into the.
motion to approve the consent.
That's good.
Yeah, let's go, we'll go to the
Hey,
executive
take
session.
my place.
Look, I need a motion for the consent agenda.
No,
Mayor,
we want an executive session with all that.
Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
I'm gonna request that we do these item by item, please.
The consent agenda?
Yes, and not as a month.
Alright, go ahead with the first one. Yeah, wanna take that one?
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, number 13,
Yes, ma'am.
consideration of approval for,
I motion that we accept item 13 as read and written, Mayor.
I second with
That's
unreadiness.
written, alright, give me, that's easier.
With unreadiness.
You have an unreadiness?
Yes.
You made the motion?
No, I made the
I'm
motion.
requesting, I seconded with unreadiness.
All
It's
right.
just a quick question. On that letter, I noticed it said residential septic tank waste.
Right.
It doesn't say our waste. So, commercial.
Commercial.
It should say what now?
Why would they just specifically say residential waste?
Acceptance of commercial and residential.
It not, it doesn't say commercial. It
Let's
just
put
says
commercial in
residential.
there.
So we have to request a new letter.
Yeah, there's something commercial.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So when I read that earlier, I was like, so you may, although you're saying residential, you may potentially use commercial waste
Don't need a new item.
You can just accept it with that revision, and then we can, I can send it back to them, so the board accept it with that.
All right, give me a motion.
Yeah, Mayor, I'll make that motion that, we accept, item 13 as read.
With the new revision.
With the revision of, commercial, mentioning commercial waste, not accepting commercial waste. That's what I was listening.
Who did the second? All in favor?
Jill Guy.
Yeah.
Wells,
That's right.
Tim Taylor,
Motion carried. Item 14,
Authorize and approve Assistant Chief Kell Conductor to attend the 2025 Federal Grant Institute in San Diego, California, March 4th through 6th, 2025, pursuant to the City of Kansas travel policy and Mississippi state law.
do you have a second?
Motion
She ready. Who made it? Somebody give me a motion.
I motion, Mayor.
Give me a second.
I'll second the motion with the non-readiness.
Please state your name.
And then readiness based on the chief or the assistant chief being here. If they're not, then we'll go forward.
The chief is here.
Give us some information on this particular,
This particular grant is dealing with federal grants, going and see the different avenues that we can go when we apply for federal grants for the city of Canton. So instead of just local, it's federal, since we always dealing with federal grants, it'll give us a better insight of the details of how to fill them out and how to put the right wording and the right people to connect with on a larger scale.
okay, non-readiness, thanks.
All in favor?
Tim Taylor,
Wells,
That's good.
Yeah.
Alderman Brown?
Yeah.
Motion carried. Item 15,
you sitting there. Sitting there.
Dr. Anthony, we got 15.
Item 15, authorize and approve the mayor and board of aldermen and alderwoman, Dr. Anderson, Ms. Amos, to attend the, NBC Leo 2025 Midwinter Conference at the Hilton Hotel on January 12th and 13th, pursuant to the City of Kent travel policy and Mississippi state law.
Do we have a second? Oh, no. Who did the second? Who did the motion?
I just read.
Now, I'd like to make the, motion that we approve Roman number 15 as documented and stated.
Give me a second.
That's it.
All in favor?
Tim Taylor,
Wells,
That's good.
Y'all heard Jackson. Yeah, Jackson's okay.
Jill Guy.
Brown.
Motion carried. Item, 16,
Authorize and approve Marcia Robinson and Jacqueline Amos to attend the 2025 MML Midwinter Conference at the Hilton Hotel on January 14th through 16th, pursuant to the City of Clanton's travel policy and Mississippi state law.
give me a motion.
Motion.
Give me a second.
Second.
All in favor?
I have non-readiness.
Other than readiness by
Oh.
Alderman Taylor and readiness by Alderwoman Guilty.
Again, last night when we talked about, the possibility of going through this, again, I'm not here to deter anyone from getting continuous education in their job description. The only thing I'm saying is, when we send employees somewhere, we should at least know what their job responsibilities are before they attend anything. And at this particular point, we don't know who does what, how they do it, and when they do it. And that's the only question that I have. Now, if that can be cleared up, that's a whole different scenario for me. I'm only one vote, but we need to pay close attention to these particular things and make them particular as opposed to just sending people out on wild goose chase. That is all that I'm saying. I know that Mr. DeMarcio, he works with housing. At this point, we don't have any numbers as to who's getting homes and who's not. What month is more successful as opposed to a month that's unsuccessful. We need to know these things because whether I'm here or not, we still gonna take a hit at some point. The whole attitude of doing business and can't just go, they'll go for anything. That's why people run away from us. All you gotta do is attend these Makita meetings, and you hear the subliminal messages, and it hurts your feelings because you're one of the leaders in the city. And we don't ask no questions, we just let it, just go. And believe, we know the titles, but we need to know the responsibilities that go with these titles. And if these responsibilities are being met according to this mayor and board of aldermen. We approve payroll checks. If they're earning the checks, we ought to know what the responsibilities are. And I don't know if anybody here can tell me what these responsibilities are. Mine ready, Mrs. Wendy.
Alderwoman Guilty.
My question is, who all have we previously approved to go, to this conference?
Who all has been previously approved?
Yes.
Do you know that, Dr. Anderson?
The mayor,
The MDC had a list?
oh, no, this is the MLL, the mayor, board, and myself.
Okay, that was my question.
You already read it?
Yes.
Who did the second? All in favor?
And,
Brown, man. Let's go, Nate.
Wills, man.
Tim Taylor, nay.
Motion fails. As a, huh? Alderman Guilty? You did say what now?
I voted.
You said what?
I voted.
Did you?
Yes or no?
I voted no.
Okay, motion fails. As it relates to item,
17.
item 17.
Authorizing approve clerk Edison to attend the certified municipal clerk training in Richmond on February 12th through the 14th pursuant to the City of Canton travel policy and Mississippi State law.
I'm not ready.
Everyone readiness?
Yeah, and I hadn't read the attachment, so can, Dr. Anderson give us an idea of what this particular seminar is about?
It's the municipal clerks training that they host in the spring and fall of every year.
And is this dealing with the upcoming elections?
Some of the training does include election training,
The youth.
laws and purchasing, just different classes that they offer.
Okay. All right, mine ready, Mr. President.
Who did the second?
Let's go, let's go.
Who?
Let's go.
All in favor?
Wills,
Tim Taylor,
Let's go, man. Brown,
Line.
and,
Everybody voted?
Yeah.
Motion carried. Item 18.
18, authorizing approve the mayor and the board of aldermen, alderwoman, Dr. Anderson, Ms. Amos, Anthony Denton to attend the building epic venues and economic and tourism development workshop February 20th to 21st in Grand Prairie, Texas, pursuant to City of Canton travel policy and Mississippi State law.
Do we have a motion? One. Do we have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to approve item 18.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it with an unreadiness.
Please state your readiness.
I got a better understanding. My unreadiness is remedy. I was just trying to draw a rebuttal, that's all. All right, I'm not gonna give one from you.
Who did the second?
I did.
All in favor?
Brown, nay.
Guilty name?
and they, sorry, Wells.
Wills, man.
Motion fails. As it relates to the motion fails. Who voted A?
Nobody.
Yes, sir.
Nobody.
Authorizing approve the mayor, board of aldermen, alderwoman, Dr. Con Anderson and Jack Mullane to attend the National Legal Conference, Congressional City Conference, National League of Cities, rather, Congressional City Conference in Washington, D.C., March 10th through 12th, 2025, pursuant to the City of Canton travel policy and Mississippi State law. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Who did the second?
Guilty.
All in favor?
Guilty, aye.
Brown, Let's go, man.
Wills,
Ken, nay.
Tim Taylor,
Motion carried. Authorize and approve Melvin Garrett to approve Swanner Spring Conference in Biloxi, Mississippi on April 29th, May 3rd, 2025, pursuant to the City of Canton travel policy, Mississippi state law. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
I'm ready.
Those in readiness for Alderman Taylor.
If I may, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
I've been here 5.5 years, and I know Mr. Garrett attends this particular seminar every year to this date. Maybe you all are more inclined to tell me what this is, but you know, after 5.5 years, I don't know what SWANA even represents. I don't know if that's an acronym. I don't know if that's the actual name, and I don't know if we've ever pressed Mr. Garrett to come forth and tell us what actually takes place at a SWANA meeting. I don't know if this is a Greek organization or what. I know it's not, just for candor. It's solid waste, yeah, but we don't know what took place and what takes place and what are the benefits of the city of Canton when we attend this particular. I know he's the Secretary of the Treasury, but we still don't have an in-depth piece of knowledge as to what it is about. When we send people places, we ought to at least get an update as to what it is and how it benefits the city. My readiness is ready.
Come forward, Mr. Garrett, and explain this, and show us that Ms. Warner swear you have.
You said show him.
Explain.
You got a Swanner jacket on.
Oh, that's the advertisement.
It is the Solid Waste Authority of North America. It is an organization in which certifies your director for the city of Canton to operate a landfill in the state of Mississippi or anywhere in the United States or the world, for that matter. It is an organization where we are connected with the changes such as PFAS, such as leachate, such as daily cover, such as hazardous waste, non-hazardous waste, construction, collections of solid waste from residential homes. It involves the in-depth of learning about the development or the structure of landfills and the pitfalls or the heights of landfills. It's where we meet together with our regulators, this is Department of Environmental Quality, to learn about the changing laws, and we also have an ethics seminar part of that, in which we are all engaged in. Also a venue where we meet our vendors, whether they be Caterpillar, whether they be Tanner, those are people that sell compactors or landfill compaction equipment, Komatsu, Volvo, all those people are part of this particular incident. This year's conference will be a joint conference involving 3 states, Louisiana, Alabama, and Mississippi. And so it is a joint conference this year with all the professionals in solid waste industry,
So what's the difference in this conference and the conference that you and Mr. Hodges attended 2 or 3 months ago?
It was a Mississippi chapter only conference. It's just big. It's just a bigger conference it's a big event for the same, like in essence of the same thing. But it's just people from outside of Mississippi connecting with people that do the same thing in other states or have similarities.
Shawan will know, and when we told him when we look at Les Shade incident arise.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there are some concerns, and he knows that when he's away, we have to wonder if we're gonna get hit with another major fine. And we're, you know, pretty, I want to say blessed if these things don't make the newspaper, because it can truly be a deterrent to the whole city. And again, it won't be on Mr. Garrett's show, it'll be on these 7 governing authorities along with the mayor. So, you know, we have to, I believe, ask questions as to what the benefits will be. And I know your management style the information that you're gaining, you're bringing it back to your people. Am I correct, during meetings and all that? Yeah. Okay, I didn't know about the certification process, because you don't ever tell us when you come back from a meeting that you were recertified to no degree. And these are types of things that we can, we can pull out when we find out more about, what goes on, what the details are of what you attend.
Yes.
Yeah. In most cases, the city of Canton has a reputation of going to different events and, making it a vacation. And, that has to stop at some particular points.
Is your second in command able to handle where you go?
Yes, sir.
Is he certified?
He is, sir.
You know Taylor ain't with you.
Yes, sir.
It's interesting, you said he gets certified, so he gets certified every year without going to this particular conference?
Just continue education afterwards.
Okay.
Continuing education is ongoing.
Right.
In any field.
Because it's constantly evolved growing.
Right, okay. I was just wondering, to attend it, you said you get certified, so I was just wondering if that applied to Mr. Collins.
He attended the MOLO certification, which is the manager of operational landfills, in Meridian to get certified. And he passed the test. And in order to retain that certificate of MOLO, then he has to have so many potential hours. We both are dual certified in the operations of Class 1, which is what we have. We have two landfills. We have a MSW or a subtitle B, which is known as a line landfill. We also have a Class 1 rubber site, which is able to accept limbs, trees, sheetrocks, just regular construction and demolition material. The line landfill is comprised of a leachate collection system whereby the water is treated at the POTWs by CMU. And the subtitle D is, we have 7 funds. And we do annually, or we do quarterly, as well as semi-annually water sampling to make sure that we're not infiltrating groundwaters around the city. And also to make sure that nothing's coming from other areas getting onto us. We have 7 upgraded wells, and we have 5 downgraded. We have 9 leachate gas collection wells, which are monitored daily, and we get a report, which we submit to NDEQ. And so far, the reason we don't generate landfill gas as much is because of the type of cover that we use, which is yazoo clay, which has a low permeability of infiltration of water. So therefore, once we decide to maybe to do injections of some type, in which we'll create an anaerobic environment in which microworms will get in, start eating this stuff, and it'll generate gas, and then we can start. We've looked at, talked to Nissan about it several times. We don't know how long, how innovative they are. They're okay with going all green now. And that's it depends on who's in the White House too, whether or not how much money's gonna get pumped down, even if recycling is gonna stay or if it's gonna stay or if it's gonna leave. Because there's no money in it, depending on who's in the White House. The government has to put money in to get it about.
What term you use, and I'll let you go. Leachate, what is that? Is it an acronym or is it a word?
Leachate is actually the water. Anytime stormwater or rainwater touches garbage, it is considered leaching, a leaching process.
Okay.
Whereby the water absorbs some of the contaminants and can run off or run into the environment. And so it is prohibited to have that process go on. But when you get torrential rains and things like you just had, it can happen. But you minimize that with daily cover of at least 6 inches. And burning and all this type of stuff. And that's mainly what we bring back and try to incorporate. Although sometimes we change staff a lot, so we have to keep retraining people as the value of daily cover and doing such
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. I know you guys have given me.
All in favor? Is there a motion on that?
Yes.
Is it second?
Yes.
All in favor?
Tim Taylor.
Well, that's correct.
Yeah,
Alderman Hilty? Man? Motion carried. As relates to item 21, authorized transfer and $23,436.17 from the general fund to the second fund. See collected off the monthly report folder. Do we have a motion?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Brown eye. Black eye.
Tim Taylor.
That's correct.
Motion carried. Approve the city of Canton 2025 holiday calendar. Copy of the folder. Do we have a motion?
no, we're gonna have it unwritten, I'm not motioning.
You have a what?
I'll motion.
You have a motion?
I motion.
Okay, you have an amendment also?
I don't, I think they're trying to deal with it.
Okay, give me a second.
Why you looking at me?
I'm just
Because
saying.
you're going to say something.
I mean, can somebody give me a second?
You and I want to do that already.
Someone do the second so y'all can talk.
Just gonna vote.
I'll second the motion.
You second the motion?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Brown eye.
Yeah,
Who you did?
Pen,
Tim Taylor.
Well, that's correct.
Motion carried. The last item on here is, consent to approve reimbursing max fee $40. Gas due to issues with the fuel man card.
Give that man a
So moved.
I'll second the motion. I haven't read it.
I did.
No, sir. Say Brown. You got E second.
They got it.
Oh, you want to say Brown?
motion to go to the executive session.
No, I haven't read it.
Yeah, I read it.
What is your name?
Yeah, now, in the past, when we've had people to come out of their pockets with things, it's almost as if, the verbiage has been, it's a donation to the city, it's not approved. If we're gonna change the rules in the middle of the game, we need to do the same thing for everybody. I know there have been a couple of situations where flats have happened, and people have gotten the flats fixed and didn't get reimbursed. It was a donation to the city. Now, I'm not one that want to hold money back. I am one to follow the rules. And, I mean, in this situation, because I don't have a full understanding of what went on with the gas man car. I mean, he got the gas, and I'm just
He paid for it.
Yeah, he paid for it, but I mean, you along with everybody else has said that when we do things that are not approved by this board, it's a donation. Have we not said that? Okay, we've said that. And I'm not singling you out, period. But I'm just saying that there have been other situations in the city. A person may have a flat on one of the vehicles, get the flat fixed, and never get reimbursed.
Well, that's wrong.
It's absolutely wrong.
If that happens, someone needs to come up right now and say, so. Yeah, Fred, throw it back.
Give your, so we can vote and get into executive session.
All right, quickly. I stopped at the new fuel station down on 51 South. Put my card in, what he said. I walked inside and asked him if they accepted fuel man, which I had been told they did. The cashier said, yes, we do, but the pumps are not programmed. I have to run the card on the inside. So I give her my mileage, my ID number, and the fuel man card. Went out there and pumped the gas. $40. We run the card 3 times. He kept coming back to 9. Their system was messed up. I didn't intentionally or volunteer to pay the $40 up front. I legitimately tried to use the fuel man. But if y'all want to keep that
No, that's not, that's
So we're
not,
gonna make a motion.
that's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. We had a conversation about this, and the resolve was, it is a donation, because it's not spread across the minutes. That's what I'm saying. This is nothing against you, okay?
Yeah, and I can go along either way. It's not gonna make me mad.
So let me ask you a question. So has a motion been made on this?
Yeah.
Been seconded? All in favor?
That was my amendment.
He rendered it as amended.
You use your gas and pursuant to city business, correct?
Correct.
Correct. All in favor?
Yeah.
That's correct.
Well done.
Tim Taylor, nay.
Motion carries. So let me say this, before we go into executive session. If there's anybody who wants to join Dr. William Truly in the economic development program that's gonna be outside of Dallas at Grand Prairie on February the 20th, please let me know. Because that's exactly where I will be. You're gonna have folks there who have done billions of dollars worth of economic development in these communities, showing you how to do economic development as it relates to bonds and funding and all of that. And so let me know if that's what you want to do. With that said, the mayor will take a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Okay.